to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? Motion to approve the agenda.
There's two things we would like to add to the agenda.
Okay.
Washburn Life would like to be added to the agenda, and I had forwarded off Rochelle's email, and I believe you have all printed copies with you. Okay. And then I would like to add the Pledge of Securities as well to just approve those. They can both go at the end or wherever. Pledge of Securities can go at the end. Wherever you would like to put Washburn Life is good with me.
We'll put them down at 19.
And 20. Okay, I would move that we'd approve the agenda with the additions.
Second.
All in favor?
I guess just quick discussion. Do we maybe want
Say,
to,
Mark, you have to take a roll call.
should we maybe just put them up where it's not, because like the visiting stuff, they wouldn't just get maybe if they didn't want to. Like maybe probably like after the American Legion, 'cause it seems like above there we have people that would be here kind of just visiting. Or if they want to skip the whole meeting, that's fine too, just to honor their time or whatever, just a thought.
It's a good
No.
point. It's a good point.
We don't have to. Yeah,
No.
just.
I hope we move along pretty quickly, so.
Okay.
All right, Keith?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Everyone had a chance to go through the minutes
Yep.
of the July 8th meeting?
I believe in the printed I had changed it, but in the original minutes, there was a correction that needed to be done. I believe it still said President Thomas called the regular
Oh,
commission
okay.
meeting to order. It should be President Lown.
But these are correct.
Yeah, I corrected it before I sent them out, but I think they were published incorrectly, so I would just like to make that change known.
Okay, sure. So I would move to approve the corrected minutes.
Second.
Any more discussion? If not, Keith?
Yes.
Yes. And yes. All right, financials for July. Everyone had a chance to look through those.
I did provide it after our budget meeting on Friday. I did provide you guys a little different report to look at, just kind of showing you the expenses and the revenues where we're at sitting with the budget. So that's why it was a little bit thicker this time, but just so that you guys could see that in relative to our conversation on Friday.
Okay. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? Not hearing any. Keith?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay, Missouri Slope at home. Come forward.
So I'm with NDSU Extension. I'm Camille Moderator, the Family and Community Wellness Extension Agent here in town from McLean County.
You can have a chair if you want, but if you'd
Oh,
rather
yeah.
stand, that's
Okay.
fine.
Nope, I can do that. So I'm working with Missouri Slope at Home and the Rural Aging Action Network. We're looking at having a health fair here in town at the Memorial Hall. They cover Burley, Morton, and McLean counties. So we've done it, or they've done it in other cities, and I've been to one in Wilton. It's a health fair. We try and bring in non-traditional providers. So like myself, sometimes there's chiropractors, sometimes there's physical therapists, just to bring awareness to the different resources in some of these smaller communities. And so we were asking if the fee for the rental of the Memorial Hall, just the gym, could be waived, since it's a free event for all the vendors and for all the participants. We're looking at having a lunch there served by an organization. I have yet to figure out what organization would provide that lunch, but it would be a fundraiser for whatever organization wants to take that lunch on.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing that to our community. So
Yep.
I would move that we would waive the fee for that. That falls under our guidelines, so.
Second.
Any more discussion? Not hearing any?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. All right, Washburn Public School, waiver of fees. Nobody from the schools here, but in your packet, we got a letter from Dr. Penny Dale from the school. The school wants to use the Memorial Hall upstairs and downstairs kitchens, provide, hot lunch for the school till their construction project is over.
I don't know that they'll be using the downstairs kitchen anymore.
Oh, okay,
Um,
well, that's in
Ju-
there.
yeah, it's what she had initially said, and when I had typed that up, and then on Thursday, I believe when I got this over, they're not sure just because it's not, they don't have the ovens that they thought they did, so I believe they're just gonna stay upstairs.
Okay.
But-
And did they say anything about, cause they've had breakfast items.
They're
as
planning
well.
to bring in some coolers and just do like a cold breakfast,
Okay.
and wherever they can provide for the kids up at the school, where they'll only have to come down here to do lunch.
Okay. So are they gonna transport everything up to the school then? Or-
From the sounds of it, yes, they'll come down here and cook it, and then Dr. Penny will bus it up to the school for the kids.
Any discussion?
Well, I
Any
think-
thoughts from?
Yeah, I'm sure it's getting frustrating for them, and I think if we can help them out, we should help them out, so I would move that we would waive those fees to help school out, so.
Okay, do we have a go-to person for them when they come in daily, or are we gonna give them a key fob, or what's the, is there any strategy, or you want me to do that since that's my portfolio?
It doesn't matter. I was thinking they could just have a key fob. That way they can get in and out whenever, and they can get in when they need to. When they're done, they can leave. Open walk will open back up. So not, I guess, right away. They might be done before open walk, it starts back in there. So I just thought about giving them a kitchen key and the key fob. That way they have access in there or whatever time in the morning that they wanna be in there. Since we have the rental agreement, so it would just be like renting it for that month and a half or that they're planning on at this point.
And I'm sure, well,
Say, Mark, we have a motion on the
Yeah.
table, we should have a second, then have a discussion, so
Okay.
just a point of order.
thank you,
I'll second.
Okay, now we can continue.
all right, thanks for that. Okay, any more discussion?
Were you gonna say something else? 'Cause
Yeah, you had something else,
Yeah,
Mark.
all right,
You can go ahead.
so anyways, I'll work with the cooks and stuff to make sure that they're cleaning up after themselves and all that, so.
It means you volunteered to do dishes.
Nope, we have a dishwasher.
Okay,
I don't know if it's closer for them, they may want an actual key for the back too, if that's closer for them to get to the kitchen.
Yeah. Oh.
For bringing in supplies and stuff. Yeah. I'll coordinate that with them when the time gets closer, so. But I might be gone, I will be gone on vacation for about 2 weeks, so I'll let somebody else know for a contact in case needed, so. That's about all I have.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, liquor permit, riverboat, so got an application here from Tyler Vetter.
This is his yearly street dance that he does in September. September 14th, so it would just be approving it so that he can have a bar outside as well on the street, just in front of the door, off to the side a little bit where he has the past few years.
so it's very similar to the last few years.
Yep.
Identical.
Yep.
Okay,
Just needs to be approved.
all right,
I motion to approve.
okay, second,
Any more discussion? Keith?
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Library board appointment.
Mr. President, I just wanted to take that moment to the applicant, so I'm gonna step away and not vote or get in discussion.
Okay. Okay, we got 2 applicants. One is Keith, and then the other one is Carrie Goes. Carrie ever applied before?
She has not, no. And they were leaving last Thursday, I believe, for vacation, so she got it turned in, before she left.
In the past, what we've done is, so that we could ask them questions, we would have them here in person, but,
To interview?
right, so. How do you wanna proceed with that?
I would like to give her, Ms. Go's, a opportunity to interview before we make a decision.
So we'd have to postpone it.
Correct.
Okay.
But if Mr.
Well, I think that would, you should probably do it all at the same time, Mark.
Oh,
because
okay,
it's a
just
month
keep them
la-
together.
It's a month later.
Sure.
What are you gonna
It'll
remember?
speed it up that way.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
I guess you're back in the game again, Keith.
I will let her know.
thanks, Keith. Okay, Creek tax exemption. So you have an application for tax exemption on the new construction.
Okay, so this is up to $150,000 taxable value. It would be for 2 years.
Correct.
It would just cover the city tax, correct? Because you can't forgive the school tax. And we can't do anything with Park Board either because they're their own entity.
Right.
So it would just be the portion out of his tax bill that is designated city.
Correct.
Okay, just so I,
As far as I know, and I did, with it being approved, I will get some clarification from, Ryan as well with that. I just had printed that off as an example of, I know how the last one was done. And that's the resolution that the city had passed to be able to provide this incentive for new builds in town.
right. Because we have no say over the school, the county, the Park Board, or
That's-
anything else.
yep.
Okay.
Is this because he's, taken on his own street and sewer, or?
No, this is just kind of a enticement, or
Incentive.
getting incentive, thank you, to, get someone to build in town.
For new construction.
Right.
Gotcha.
Construction.
Or, I mean, and it could be residential or it could be commercial.
I just noticed on this, that for the first owner after builder is not checked, but that's one of the requirements. So is he the builder or the first owner after the builder or on the application?
It would be the,
He's the first owner after the builder.
But he's
Yeah.
not building it himself.
He did not build it himself, no. He had a contractor that built it and then he moved in.
Oh, this is that, okay, gotcha.
So it should be checked first owner after builder.
Yes.
Yeah.
So wouldn't he be the builder because he's the one that hired the contractor? So, I mean, usually if he does, the person, if it's a builder, the person after it's built, wouldn't he have bought it from somebody else?
Yeah,
Use for technical.
Because I hired the
Yeah.
contractor to do it, I'm the homeowner. And I hired the contractor, so therefore it's new home construction, which I did not build.
Which I get what you're saying though, that he was the builder because nobody lived in it previously.
right, because this states first owner after builder, insinuating that the builder owned it first, so it actually should,
I guess technical,
yeah.
it would be the builder. I mean, cause you did build it,
Yeah.
but wasn't you. Contractor.
Yeah,
I
that-
can ask the
that is-
county too how they want
That
that.
is confusing, but,
Well, you'd have to look in the century code of how builders define probably,
Yeah.
so the
And I haven't
NDCC,
pulled it up
which
on
is
that
like
computer.
clearly. But,
Real easy to look up,
yeah.
check whatever.
all right, with that all said, I'll make a motion to approve tax exemption. Is there a second? assuming that since there's only 2 boxes to check, it wasn't the builder.
Right, but just one of the requirements, the number 3, the conditions met. So that's, yeah, as long as it's clear. It's just a.
I guess it doesn't define it in the definition.
Is there a deadline on this?
It would be fine to go to September.
Okay, why don't we move it to
The
September? then?
estimated taxes will go at the end of August, but it could still be approved and submitted to the county before the tax statement goes out in December.
Okay,
You made the motion, is it okay with you to withdraw it?
yeah,
and
I'll
do the research?
withdraw my motion till we get clarification.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Next up on the agenda is the American Legion.
Well,
Would you-
looky there, we came right on time. How we doing, Mark?
Good, come on up.
Congratulations.
You can stand or sit, whatever
I'm
you
gonna
prefer.
sit. How often do we get to
Moral
sit?
support.
Gary, do you wanna come up here and sit?
I got a good chair.
All right. So how are we doing? I'm coming here under your request.
Well, I guess it was mutual. We're
Yep.
saying that I want to thank the American Legion for all that you do for the community in the surrounding area. Your support is greatly needed and appreciated. And I would like to see the city commission to work with the American Legion so we can coexist and work together to promote Washburn and everything that we stand for.
Jesse told me that.
I'm all for it.
Stirring
And I
there's
wanna,
water
I wanna,
dollars.
I have a few things to do, but the first thing I want to do is, the American Legion is having a feed on October 8th. And I want to invite the city council to that feed. And all your kids, all your family, it's a family affair. So I want to invite you guys to come. It's on October 8th.
Isn't that open to the public?
No.
No,
Okay,
no, it'll be private for
It'll-
us.
it'll be like a Legion dinner,
Yep, like a Legion
Okay.
dinner. Yep, like a
6 p.m.
I'm gonna say yes. Is that right?
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Okay.
Where is it at?
It'll be in the hall, and, I think it'll be an open bar.
We'll be downstairs.
No,
I think we might do it upstairs.
Oh, okay.
yep,
We
Yeah.
normally
Sure.
do it downstairs, but there might be enough people who want
Okay.
to do it upstairs.
we're gonna do it upstairs. Some folks put a brand new floor on there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
we'll take
yeah.
advantage of
I
that.
think we're gonna take
Sure.
advantage of it.
That sounds really good. We appreciate that
Yep,
offer.
and it'll be, yeah, I'm not sure what's on the menu, but
Stew.
we'll see what happens. Stew, right there. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. I think it'll be very beneficial for you folks to come.
Sure.
And for us to foster a good communications together. We want to show you our appreciation, because we know you're very busy and you guys have a lot going on. Even Tim Doctor there. Are very, very busy. All right,
You said this is gonna be upstairs, correct?
upstairs.
On October 8th?
Yes.
Okay, so there will have to be no basketball practice?
Yep, I was just gonna
Is that
get to
an
that.
issue?
Maybe we should.
I'll
schedule
just
that.
have to tell Jacobson.
Okay.
Yep.
We can work around that.
Tell them it's for the city.
They're usually pretty good to work with, once we let
Yep.
them know ahead of time,
Let
so,
them know ahead of time.
okay,
Very good. Thank you much.
you're welcome.
There are a few other things now.
Okay.
okay, we have to address the stage area.
Mhm.
Okay, that's like the next thing on the list. And, I'll just say it outright, okay? You can just let us go with it and let us do what we think needs to be done. Or we can suggest to you what should be done, or you can just go ahead and do whatever you guys wanna do. It's up to you. What do you think? Do you think that the stage area even needs to be done?
I think there could be some improvements on the stage area.
Hey Eric, I got you on.
I think we would like to know what kind of, we need to communicate,
Yep,
definitely.
yep,
I don't see the city really standing in your way, you
okay,
know?
Yeah.
But we would like input.
Yep.
you
Yeah,
know.
and we'll work with you, Mark. You're the one that's in charge of the.
Yep, on buildings and grounds, so, and then I'll keep the commission updated on any progress, any details of any changes or whatever, and then we'll try to work together as best we can.
Okay, do you guys want to do any of the work?
I guess we haven't discussed on what's gonna be done or anything, so, you
Yeah,
know.
there's a couple of talks like just painting it or
Mhm.
putting some kind of siding or covering on it. What do you guys wanna do?
Well, there's a couple of things, the stage walls need to be painted black. And then, sound curtains on the walls and the stage on the left, and bring the flags out a little bit. And then, cover the electrical panel, just put a, like with them covered cores over it. And then, they want to build out on the sides of the wall, the two front sides, bring them in, did I get that correct? Bring them in and build them up so there's like straight and even, just clean up the face. And then on the front facade, whatever, use that galvanized steel, kinda like we did back in the bar, the galvanized or a blue in the back or the gray, kinda something like that. These are just ideas, these are not exactly what we wanna do, but kinda like that.
And some it's for aesthetics and some of it's for, noise issues, like with the, air conditioning units and just a
Yeah,
lot of things to take a look at.
Yeah, that's another thing,
Okay.
if we're done with the stage.
I can see it happening.
Okay.
So,
Okay, then the other thing is, we need to get the air conditioners, so I'm bringing this up because of occurrences that we've had during the memorial issue, okay, between our memorial function, and that's the air conditioning. We've gotta be able to turn them all off. Okay, people with, earbuds or whatever, that frequency is very, very bad for them. They can't hear nothing. They complain to us, and we know the sound system is working just fine. So we have to be able to turn that air conditioning and all the air handlers off. I don't, Jamie will know how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you wanna do it very basic, that's all down in that lower basement panel up against the wall. I mean, those are all on their own
Yeah,
breakers down there.
yeah.
I mean, that'd be the simplest way. But, I don't know, bringing this up, talking about air conditioning, do we wanna do any kind of Wi-Fi thermostats or any way if somebody rents it, they can do anything with it, or?
I think that's a very good idea. I think it needs to be updated if it hasn't been updated by yet. But to have them locked to where nobody can turn them off, that's not working. I also understand that people leave it on and then you guys get charged for all the gas and the propane and the heat in the wintertime. But the Wi-Fi ones, I even have Wi-Fi on my home right now. When I'm in Arizona, I can adjust it. Wi-Fi is the way to go.
Well, I thought maybe like Chelsea, or if you're in buildings and grounds, you would have access that on your phone and you could set those schedules to try to, cool it down before somebody gets there, or make sure it at least shuts off, like, well, they're supposed to be out here at 10. You could like maybe have it shut off at 11 or midnight or
See, and
something.
I think that's part of it too, is have some procedures in place to, if somebody is renting the facility to precondition the room before it actually,
Yeah,
event takes place.
that's where I thought, yeah, instead of having those locks over there, even if they gotta be somewhat a different spot to where, you know, somebody, okay, yeah, we're renting it to so-and-so, let's get a condition to 68, you know, at this time, or, okay, it is doing that, you know, instead of having to be hands-on over there, unlocking a box or something.
Right.
You know, somebody's gotta have the big deal, question is who's gonna have the control with the Wi-Fi? Where's that gonna be located?
Yeah, that's, well, it could be on your, it'd be on your phone, like,
Or it
That's a-
could be right there on the wall and you guys could have the duplicate for it.
yeah, I mean, the thermostat could kind of still be where it's at. Still kind of a loaded question, because you kind of still want those covers for basketball and stuff like that, so they don't get smashed, but.
I'll let you guys work on that. I don't think.
Yeah,
we're
we'll
gonna-
look into it.
You guys, that's in, I want you to look into. And then, the other one is, we suggest that you leave the janitor's place open, the janitor door open. Why is it locked? Why is it locked? How much in there is that valuable? I don't understand it. We go into there and looking for a garbage bag, looking for toilet paper, looking for anything, and the utility room is locked. I don't understand it. Is it all the consumables? I'm sure
Well-
that the Allegiant would come up with the consumables, whatever it takes to replace that every 6 months or so. I don't wanna commit myself to anything, but it can't be much over $200-300
Well-
worth of consumables in there at any one time.
What if we did a lockable cabinet for the consumables, but then left it kind of a general area that, you know, yeah, I've been in there too, it's like, say you wanna grab a mop or something like that, and it's locked, and you don't know the person who rented the hall, and they have the key, so yeah, you know, kinda, you can't clean up after yourself
Yeah.
with that door locked.
I'm also curious about
Yeah.
some of the renting problems that you guys are having. I would wish that you would make it known to us what is going on, so we can help.
Sure.
Would you be just a little more specific with that? Just so we know what to look for.
Okay, the consumables, are people stealing the toilet paper, are the people not putting the brooms? Is there something going on with the garbage cans? The liners for the garbage cans? Are you guys running out? I'm just imagining thing, I'm just shotgunning stuff off to you.
Sure.
Well,
Well-
the real simple one is the drill to raise and lower the baskets. You know, every time I've been there with the Lions or whoever, I mean, it's always a search to try to find out where it's at. And sometimes it's behind a locked door, so.
Yeah,
you know,
I had that issue.
Excuse me, Mark, Erica might be able to shed some light on this.
Sure.
So I don't know if it's a thing legally, but like with chemicals, if we leave the door unlocked and little kids go in there and drink that stuff, who's liable for that?
That's what I was
I
gonna
think that's
talk.
why the door's locked.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because of our chemicals, disinfectants and stuff, we have to make sure that that's
Liability.
locked up and the liability. Yep. But I think we can work out a resolution to where we could have some cleaning supplies available
Yeah,
in a location, but we'll have our stuff put away and locked up.
If you need a cabinet, a locker
Sure.
cabinet, a flammable storage cabinet, that's
Yeah.
what we use, do everything in there.
Yeah.
And lock that up.
Sure,
I think that's a real good idea.
I think we can work together on that.
Yep.
So either a cabinet, or like if there's more room needed, like a wall down the middle and a door, that stays locked. And
Yep.
then, you know, that something's accessible from like the Lions or some other
Yeah,
function.
yeah, we need access to cleaning supplies, toilet paper, you know, whatever,
Rooms,
brooms, yes,
Yeah.
brooms and.
Dustpan,
and
garbage
Garbage can liners, things. Okay.
How many of you have a key for that cleaning room?
Never saw one. Never, yeah, exactly. Why don't they give the key away when they?
There's
give-
been a couple given out. I don't know who has them, but somebody does.
Okay, my big question is, why is it locked? Why is it even locked?
Because
Well,
There's
because of the
chemicals in it.
liability of the.
Yeah,
There's
okay,
chemicals.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah. There it is.
And the, I'm not, when kids aren't watched in that hall, they make a mess.
Yep.
I've seen it, we have cameras, and that's also another big reason. The drill also for the, basketball hoops, we have to do something different with that because it's ruining that basketball hoop. So that's something that we need to look at as well, to be able to put it up and down because it's ruining the back of that hoop. So, that's another option that we just discussed actually last week, 2 weeks ago, that we have to look at how to do differently, so.
Very good, because that was one of my topics.
Yep.
The basketball hoop, I think, my personal self, I think they should be taken down and brand new ones. Aluminum ones. Or when the school goes and does their safety check, grab that guy from the school and come and do a safety check on ours. Ours needs a safety check. I know and I tell everybody that that winch on that hoop, if they go past, bring it too far, that drill will pull right through when you two block it. If you two block it, it's gonna pull it right through, and then it's gonna come down. There's nothing to stop it from two blocking. And I don't know what the school has, but I certainly think that it's warranted that this one has been used enough. Let's update it. And that's a subject that we can work together too.
Sure.
Because that's a one big item. We have time left, I have one more item.
Sure.
How about a lift? You guys could get a nice lift, a man lift, so you could work up there and work down. Jamie could give us a good recommendation of what kind of lift to get. You guys could, we got it all figured out for it. You could park it in your garage over here and drive it back and forth. It's gonna cost a lot of money, but I think that we would be more than happy to have.
Okay.
Just, what's that? You have enough of us?
Is there a spot instead of driving it back and forth that you could just leave it over there in the corner? Cause I mean, the fire department has this building over here, and it's packed.
No, not the fire, that little garage. We were talking about that little garage.
That's the fire
Right
department.
across the street.
The white
That's
one?
the fire department?
Yeah,
that's theirs.
They got everything.
Rescue squad.
But there should be enough room for a lift. Do you think, Jamie, just to set it?
Yeah, there's that
'Cause
whole
there's no
closet
bleachers
back
over there
on
in the corner.
left-hand side.
Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of one more thing to move there.
Okay.
If you want, you can use mine, I mean.
Yep.
You need it for something else or whatever, mine's available, it's in town, I guess, or
Yep.
whatever,
Okay,
so.
we'll remember that, but it's a lot easier just to go back there in the corner and just grab it.
Yeah, are you thinking one of those little one-man
Yep,
guys like the school has?
Yes.
So,
yep.
so,
Are they good for that height?
You have to put out the
outriggers,
outriggers.
yeah. If you're gonna do any kind of work, you kind of want one of the lifts like I got, but, I mean, that one, well, even mine, to get to the center, yeah, you might wanna make sure you get something high enough to get to the center, like if you're gonna work on a fan or something.
Let me ask you this, will our floor handle that?
We supposedly checked on that when we had to go in there and fix that light, and we got those rubber conveyor mats, and we put those down. So, it's supposed to be, I think we checked on that before we took it in to fix that one light,
Yeah,
so,
as long as you're not driving on it with nothing underneath the lift,
yeah, if you have a
it
way to,
needs to be
yeah,
on something.
so where that tire can disperse, over like a piece of plywood
Yeah.
or something to spread it out over the boards,
Yeah.
so.
All right, okay, a little more than what we figured out, but okay. All right, is there anything else? No, I think we're good. Terry, do you have anything, Terry?
Covered all the way.
Okay, very good. How about you guys for us? Is there anything we could help you out? Do you see any projects coming in the future?
Not sure yet.
Okay.
You had that
I'm
city,
gonna tell you one thing on in the park board, and our lot that's coming in. we're looking for a evergreen tree, and we're gonna try and get a tree going up there for Christmas. A regular growing Christmas tree, we're gonna try to get one to grow there. That's a goal of ours, just so you know, that's all.
You have some, Jamie, question?
Oh, I was just gonna say, on our budget, we had that beautification, portfolio, we talked about what, benches down Main Street or Main Avenue, Christmas lights, stuff like that. I don't know if that's anything you guys are interested in, so.
In what, helping or what?
Yeah, but, I mean, it's all whatever, but, I mean, those are some things we talked about in our budget that if you guys are interested in, but.
We're always interested in something like that. We wanna help out Washburn however we can. We wanna be a part of it. We are. So, yeah.
I'm sure we'll be in contact.
Yeah,
so.
Christmas lights and Christmas and anything. It'll be really good. All right, thank you, gentlemen, for
Thank
allowing
you.
us to come and speak.
Thank you.
Yep.
No, that's okay.
This baby's nice and warm.
Maybe you wanna sit in on the rest?
Oh, Dean, did you have anything?
Oh, you did good.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, number 12, 2023 street project dirt hauling discussion.
Okay, so, I did look into this a bit, I guess, just before we started, I know some individuals from the crowd wanted to speak on this at the city commission. I can definitely give you an opportunity to speak on it if you want, because I have 7 pages to go through, unless you wanna wait for that, I guess. You're fine, okay, sounds good. So, sorry, bear with me, this might be just a little bit. Basically, to give you a quick synopsis, I talked to the engineer, talked to the contractor, talked to people that were involved with the project specifically, and just am going to present what I found. So this is a compilation, I'll talk loud, so, okay. This is a compilation of all of the information regarding the material that was hauled across the river. This will be a shorter bullet point list with references to the other documents in this folder. I've organized it in a question and answer format to address people's concerns on these topics. To be clear, some of the questions or answers are summaries of the entire conversation for brevity. I encourage everyone who reads this or hears it to look into the included audio recordings, which you can get from the city auditor themselves to hear what was said in context. There's about 4 hours of audio conversation. So what happened to the millings and what was hauled across the river? The following is from the construction meeting minutes. This is from the pre-construction meeting and that sort of stuff. According to the document titled 90% Review Meeting Minutes, Section 1, Subsection F, just to be clear, all this will be available for anyone that wants to request it. It's in the public record. So all these documents I go through, you can see them for yourselves, I guess. But according to the document titled 90% Review Meeting Minutes, Section 1, Subsection F, the stockpile salvage gravel bitmess was supposed to be and at the city compound. The stockpile excess fill, approximately 740 cubic yards, at the city compound or at a designated site across the river at the city's discretion. According to a geotechnical report, the material is sandy lean clay and could be reused as suitable fill material. 2, millings were recycled into the end project mix according to the 5/20/23 meeting minutes as well as the entire project specs. Base material will be a 50-50 mix of recycled asphalt millings in the class 5 aggregate, less storage area needed. Recycled asphalt mix, milled, stockpiled, then milled again to mix with class 5. Terracon to test blended base material. So Terracon is a third-party geotechnical engineer that checks out compaction and that sort of stuff. And then also, so this is why there was not a lot of millings, because they were recycled back in. There's a lot more information on that. So 6/20/23 meeting minutes state that asphalt reclaim, grading, and recompaction was complete. So that was that part. Currently installing class 5 gravel and mixing with reclaimed asphalt for 60/40 street basements, class 5 to reclaim. So just another note about how they're doing the reclaiming and that sort of stuff. Number 4, according to the 7/13/2023 meeting notes, it was asked, are the prices okay with the amount of old base material being hauled to the farm? And approximately 1/5 of it had been removed and hauled so far. So that was just showing that before this was a thing, that prices was the designated haul route. So in a conversation with Eric of A2S, he does not know of any asphalt reclaim that was hauled over there. I asked him question, what was the cost of hauling of this material across the river? Did it save us money locating a disposal site? Answer, yes, we did. Prices was a predetermined haul route according to the project specs because the contractor was able to know the disposal site If it's unknown during the bidding project, the contractor will throw money at it, which obviously increases the price. It's better for everyone to have a predetermined place, and you get better bids from the contractor. Question: was there a use for this material that would have made it worth it for the city to keep it for a future project? Answer: possibly, but that would be up to the city commission. This is Griffin Gressner of On Point Excavating. He's the one that did all the top milling and the hauling. Question: did any of your guys haul any of millings, the top stuff, across the river? Answer: no measurable amount. There might have been some in the garbage material, but I would not have let that go, the millings go over, because any of the millings I would have let go over, I would have had to replace out of my own pocket with gravel. I would not have let anything go over. There was absolutely did not need to go, because that would only cost me money. I tried to get across the best I could during the meetings last year that it was all a waste material and is not suitable for anything for use in the city. We were kind of lucky because the prices were willing to take it. Because they were piling all of this waste material, we hauled some asphalt chunks out there and some rocks. The concrete from all the curb removal we hauled to the Knife River in Beulah. There was asphalt that went out there, but again, it was unusable material. It was chunks and stuff like that. I do not know they were going with that, but they had it in a pile by one of their feedlots. But as for any gravel or usable material, none of that went out there to prices. Question: with that base material that was hauled out there, what would you be comfortable using that on top of alleyways or streets in our city? No, I wouldn't use it for anything. I know the end of the Linden Lane, there was a gravel clay mix that we dropped in the alleyway that went to the gas station. It was rolled to some extent, and after it got rain, it blew up. That would have been worse with any of the other material from the street project. Realistically, it was all garbage material that was inconsistent and wet. In my opinion, the city should be really happy that the people across the river actually took the material. Question: in our project specs, it was stated that we had these logistics of waste removal figured out for you. If that fell through, would it have cost us extra? Answer: that was kind of the message I tried to get across when this got brought up before about trying to save that material, trying to see what this looked like, or see what that looked like. It was just not a good idea and would have been more pain and headache rather than good for the city. Question: I did look at our project, and with the whole amount of subgrade prep would have been allocated for hauling or any preparations included over the river. Answer: I do not remember exactly how the bid was. We blended everything in place using all the old asphalt and gravel to be reused in the street. I ran over on gravel, which I did anyways. That came out of my pocket. Question: for that total amount of that item, what percentage would have been hauling for across the river? An estimate if you have one. Answer: a third-ish or something in that ballpark. If it would have to have a different haul area, that would have led to a change order, which would have cost the city more money. Question: if the city did not come with the logistics to the bidding process of hauling, what waste material to the prices, would the bid have been more? Answer: yes. It would have been added a decent percentage more to our bottom line or unit price on that. I would also say that I hauled around 2,000 ton of gravel on my own dollar as well. I still ended up hauling in gravel because we ran out of usable blended material. That cost between $6,000 and $8,000 extra of extra gravel, which came out of my pocket. So trust me, there was no way I was sending out usable material out across the river. Question: at a public meeting, an individual brought a Ziploc bag of material that he claimed came from you guys' dropped across the river. Answer: you look at a pile and you can find whatever you want from that. If we take Proctor's from, say, 6 to 8 different places and mix it to get a sample, where did he grab it from? If he found a place where it had been half gravel or half clay, he could make it look really bad. You can make it look terrible if you wanted to, depending on why you were going out there to collect, but not what we hauled out there was usable. That is not a reasonable comparison, because if you wanted to find something, you could find it. So Chris Trustback, Dirty Deeds Excavating. I interviewed him just because he's done a lot of work up there. You know, he's cut up them streets, he's seen them underneath there. So with his experience with a lot of these roads in the area that he has witnessed, a portion of that asphalt was laid directly on topsoil with no base underneath. It was millings and actually that had classified material instead of topsoil had been usable for millings on project, but that was not the case. His opinion was that due to the nature of this being directly over topsoil and how it mixed with it, when he did the work, he stated he witnessed asphalt directly on topsoil. I asked him if this would be comfortable spreading this on alleyway and other projects in the area. He said absolutely not. The whole entire alley thing was that when we went out and looked at the pile to see if it was suitable, it was okay gravel and might be suitable. It was not suitable to be underneath that road. Why would it be suitable to be on any other road? Louis Price, the landowner. I just thought I'd ask him to see exactly what's over there. Question: what was dropped off at your property from the city street project and what was it used for? Answer: it was basically that clay that was underneath that pavement. Question: Mark Lelm stated that yesterday, 7/9/2024, he gathered a sample of the product he received from the street project. Did you assist him in this process? And if not, did he have permission to go on your property? Answer: no. I never had any sample. No, he has never been there that I know of. I've never seen him over there. Our property is private property and do not speak to any of us to let them go on the property. Question about how many truckloads of material was dropped off at your location, what was it used for? I never counted, but he would guess around 200 truckloads. He still has it all piled up and is now going to haul it into his feedlot. The clay would be nice for compacting for the cows. So there was no specific pay item for hauling away the extra material. Jack Sullivan, I did have a conversation with him, but I wasn't able to record it, so I wasn't able to get it exactly. But basically, what he said matched up with what everyone else said, was that the millings were not hauled over there, no asphalt millings or anything like that. And then at the end of this, I basically have some peanut brain napkin math where I tried to quantify, because there was a big concern with like the special assessment. I tried to quantify exactly how much it would have cost us. So from like a hauling perspective or a replacement of the material perspective, like how big of an issue fiscally is this or monetarily? So I'll kind of skip. So basically, I'm just going to try and run through it. It'd be easier to just see it. The estimated project cost was $2.4 million. That was then bought down with 1% sales tax and that sort of thing to 1.967, which is what people are special for. So then I just kind of took the subgrade preparation cost that there was no remove and dispose specifically named, so I had to take Griffin's estimate of 30%. It included scarifying down to 12 inches, then recompacting, so there was a lot of stuff in this, but the price was $108,000. So $108,000 for the subgrade prep, which would have included any sort of thing to haul it over there. Griffin stated that it was about a third of the work to haul it over there, so about $36,000. $36,000 divided by the total project cost is 0.018% of the entire project cost. It means the estimated percent of the total project cost would have been a hauling cost about 1.8% of the total project cost. This is assuming that we did not save much more in the bidding process. That so if it's going to save us in the bidding process, the 1.8 is pretty negligible if you save money in your bids. So using the estimated numbers, what would it be a possible value of material that was hauled over there? The engineer stated about 740 cubic yards of material was what we needed to be transported. The engineer estimated that'd be between $10 and $30 for replacement of this material, if it was suitable material and the trucking length to acquire it. Total cubic yards multiplied by average of estimated cost of 20 was $14,000, $14,000 basically. So issue some people have raised is that the gravel millings we purchased about a year later, why was the material that we hauled not used instead? So just to make a comparison there, the price per ton that we got it for was $20. Then I converted that into cubic yards because that's what I was working in. So the price paid for gravel was 8 plus 11 to haul it for $19 a ton, and it was 7.6 less than the base material. I'll just get down to the bottom of it, I'm sorry. So basically $57,000 is what it comes down to. So $57,000, which is how much the gravel would have cost, right? So then if we would have needed to, because basically the transition from cubic yard 750 to cubic tons is 1036. So it's about $19,000 total, plus the hauling. So remember how I got to the hauling, which is about $30,000. Cost of material about $19,000. So about $50,000 out of the 1.9 million is how much this is coming for. Just so we're all aware. So I hope that made some sense. I didn't speak too fast, but that's the entire thing. So just wanted to be unbiased and just present information for people. So if anyone has any questions or anything like that, I'd be glad to answer them. Or if anyone else wants to discuss this, because I know some individuals did want to talk about this and stuff.
So you're saying that this, hold on, would you like to come forward if you have something to say?
Do you want to say something? Yeah, go forward.
What, you? Well, that way we can hear you.
Just for the microphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please state your name.
Daryl Savageville. We've gone through this before, about over by Meadow, street, you know what I'm talking about. You know about it, and so does Larry. Why couldn't have that stuff been used there? I mean, right now, you drive through there, it's nothing but ruts and it hasn't been taken care of. We've gone through this for the last 12 years I've been there. I've been paying taxes on it all the time. There's no improvement on that road at all. How many times did I have you over there? 3 times?
3 times.
Yeah, and you're saying that this material wouldn't have been any good for, if you would have mixed that in and packed it?
So is Meadow the same one that, remember by the apartment where we did get material? Is that Meadow?
Yes.
Okay. So you remember when we did put the material on there? And then that material got packed and then it rained and then it was extremely bad, and people started getting stuck, and then we had to close the road.
But that was just dirt, that wasn't,
Exactly,
Yeah.
that was the material from the construction site, the better stuff.
no, that stuff there came from that Peterson, down the street there. That one that they dug up the street and
The
everything,
end of Linden?
it's the one that's over by,
Is it Patterson's?
is that Patterson? Is that who that is, or?
Jim Peterson is what he's talking
about.
Right,
Jim
yeah.
Peterson
The
is
end
where
of-
he's
the end
talking
of
about.
Yeah.
Same material.
Right, the end
Okay,
of
well,
Linden
then,
Lane.
but what that was, it was dirt.
Right,
Exactly.
It
was-
wasn't gravel or anything like that.
Correct, because
Maybe
that's
I
what was
could-
underneath
I
all
might
of
be able to
this.
answer this. I've been over to Price's twice, you know, since I was accused of being a liar, actually. That's a fact.
What's that?
Since I've been accused of being a liar on this issue, I decided I would go over and talk to Lewis Price because I tried to explain to someone that this material wasn't suitable and that's why they hauled it over there. And then that's another whole subject. So Lewis took me up to the pile that's piled up north and it's literally black dirt and clay and rocks. And the only thing it's basically good for, according to him and according to the engineer, let's say you dig a basement and you need something to fill it in with, you can fill it in. And he had given some to Dave Pyer to take out to Falkirk to fill in the basement, because that's all it's good for, it's just fill. I was over at Lewis's again today, and he said there was, when they first started dumping, they dumped in the yard. And he said he hauled most of that away and took it down, and there's another pile down in his feedlot. Now, underneath those two new bins he has, what was left there, he spread and leveled that out because it's good for fill, but it wasn't good enough to put the bins on. So then he put class 5 gravel on top of those bins and packed all that down. So the samples you took, was that from those grain bins?
Yes.
Okay, so that's not what came from here. Now, there might be a little bit that worked up in there, but that top several inches is class 5 gravel that Louis Price hauled in and put on top of there. Because I met him at his bin site again today, because I knew we were having this meeting tonight. But if you go over, and it's trespassing to go over there, that's why I asked permission to come over and meet him. He took me up to that pile, and if you look at that pile, it's good for nothing. It doesn't even hardly grow weeds. It has a mixture. Yeah, you can find some little aggregate in there and things like that, but it is mainly black dirt, clay, sludge, everything you can imagine. But for what they're doing, for filling in holes and then going over the top with something else, or like what Dave Pyer did, he hauled it up, and Louis just gave it to him. He said, I got it free, so you can have it. And he just took a few truckloads and filled in a basement with it. And that's basically all it's good for. That's what the engineer's report was. That's what the engineer told Louis Price. And they're just using it for, it's basically a spoil pile. So to put it on top of a road, like this guy said, when he uses the term blow up, there was nothing good there to use. Otherwise, we would have kept it, so.
You couldn't have kept that like in a pile someplace and used it,
We
there's
could
a lot of places, in town that could have used it, they're hauled in, all that milling from Highway 83 over to Krause's, and
but this isn't Millings. This is,
a lot of it was millings, I was watching them, they went right past my street, I said, and this is before they ever got down to the dirt.
you could call up Lewis and ask him if you could come over and have him take you up to that pile,
I
because,
mean, it's,
but it is.
what I'm getting at is, there is a use for it. It could have been used on a road, it'd be a lot better than, what I'm driving through now. I've been talking, to the city about this for, just about 12 years.
But if it would have been good enough to put on a street, we would have used it on, Chris, and you're.
No, not, yeah, but not on the street, I'm talking, this is a dirt road, it's not even gravel.
Yeah, but this would turn it into a smeary clayish road, is what it would turn it into. And yeah, if the city had future plans of filling in a bank or doing something else, but I don't know where we've got room to put 50 truckloads, let alone 200 truckloads, you know?
And also it would have cost us more because of the predefined, because where the project is, for his haul route, he would have had to go out, over and around and not through town to damage existing infrastructure. So if it was gonna go out like the compound or somewhere else, for this material, according to these guys, it would have cost on that bid and just cost us more general. Would have changed the haul route after the fact.
But I think Commissioner Happett has gone through an extensive amount of research here to show that what was taken over there was a waste pile. It wasn't good for a road base. It wasn't good for on top of the road. it wasn't good for any of that. It's not like the millings that they took off of 83, like, you know, Jamie has piled up there. You know, it's just, and I guess I would invite you to get a hold of Lewis and ask if you can come look at it, cause I mean, it'd be one thing, you know, like when we have a stockpile of clay back here, we know what type of clay it is, it can pack this type of stuff. Black dirt doesn't pack, and it's got a good percentage of black dirt in it. So as far as if you really wanted, I mean, if you're filling in a hole, like Lewis said, it's not gonna move because you're filling in a hole. But if you wanted to extend the bank, he said, I'd never use it for that because it won't stay. So
Well, what's the future for that road then, since we're talking about it?
Jamie's on streets, you'd have to ask him, so.
Yeah, I think, I talked to Adam after you talked, I went up there with Adam, we looked at it, but, not to say we're not gonna do anything, but I think we're gonna get through what's already slated for right now and then see where we're at. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, that road, it doesn't, there's 4 ways for me to get to, my shop. And there's days that I can't get there because everything's muddy and rutted up, cause there's no roads over by, Dakota Agronomy. They were out there, them found the pegs, you know, the property pegs.
Yep,
So I mean, that road couldn't that be blocked off or something, or even Meadow Drive be, blocked off and you could still have a decent road. In front of my place, it's good. It's, excellent, road, but to get there, I gotta go through a lot of mud, you know,
right.
and I shouldn't have to do that. I've been, like I said, I don't have streetlights, I don't have, gutters, I don't have anything there other than, tax. And,
Yep, well, after I met with you, I was gonna say is I did have Adam come up the next day and he, marked out property pins, and actually I met with Daryl too,
Yeah.
Foreski, and stuff like that, you know, so it's not saying no, but I mean, I know Adam and those guys got X amount of stuff scheduled for the summer, and I don't know if it happened, but I mean,
well, it doesn't have to be anything expensive or anything, because I've talked to, Wes Sauer, and he doesn't want that road to go all the way through, because he said if it does, it's gonna flood out his, storage units. So there'd have to be either a culvert put in or block that road off,
right,
you know? If that road is blocked off, I don't think it'd bother anybody, you know, cause, people to get to the storage units still could come in, 2 different directions,
right.
so,
Yeah, West has a problem there, he's kind of the bottom of the drain.
yeah. And that's where I'm talking right now, all it is, it's a bunch of ruts and stuff, and nothing's been done with it for, 2 months, so.
But yeah,
That milling, I thought that would be, some pretty good stuff, you know, to go in there, but.
It wasn't Millings that was taken over though, the samples that Mark got weren't correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, it's too many of them.
Dan?
Hi, my name's Dan Langang. First, I want to mention about the American Legion. I want to commend them for what they do for Washburn. And I want to commend you for wanting to work with them. I believe there were a lot past commissioners and that are no longer on here that didn't think much of the American Legion working for what they were doing to the city. Talking about the dirt now, I blame Tim Doctor and Larry Thomas for this dirt. They already had this dirt going over across the river before anything was decided, where it could be used. And as far as Tim, you saying that there was no pavement in it, I talked to the owner of that of the feedlot over there. I quote, he said there was so much pavement in that dirt that they couldn't use it in the feedlot, otherwise all that pavement would have been out in the fields.
You know
So
what?
there was pavement in that dirt.
Okay, there was pavement, but they were chunks like this.
Well,
Second-
whatever, doesn't matter, there was
First of
pavement
all-
in it, you
First of
know.
all, a point of.
No, if they're milling, if when you talk about milling, the milling should have been milled just like what it was down on the highway. That's how the milling should have been done.
Anyway, point of correction, it would have been Larry and Keith, I had nothing to do with that stuff.
Well, you told me that you guys tested the dirt and it was no good.
No.
I came in that night, he had a smirk on his face when I talked about that dirt, and
And,
you said you tested the dirt and it was no good.
Can I finish?
Go ahead. Well, you
Okay.
gotta let me talk too.
When I said that actually, we visited in the hallway there. When I said that we tested the dirt, I meant the city, which would have been the engineer. I don't know how to test dirt. I had nothing to do with the dirt going over there. That's not my portfolio. Streets would have been Keith and Larry. You asked me a question, why the dirt went over there. The question was probably only a minute or two, or the conversation a minute or two long. I just said, my understanding is that the engineer tested it, it was rejected for base material, and Prices are taking it over there and doing us a favor. That was our conversation. I don't know how to test dirt.
Okay, why didn't, he was sitting right here, he had
I
a
don't-
smirk on his face.
I don't remember.
When I said,
I don't remember Larry.
okay, now,
I just
see, now
remember.
you're interrupting me and then you complain when I interrupted you.
So-
Guys, could I just maybe bring some accuracy just real quick? So it actually wasn't just Larry and I. Before they dug anything up, it was approved by all 5 commissioners. And all this information was available to all 5 commissioners, and no one voted no on it, including the haul routes. It was nothing sneaky like that. But please continue.
But why didn't he speak up when I mentioned it? And he told me that it was no good. He could have spoke up, but he had a smirk on his face.
I guess I don't have any information on that.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, this was before the commission meeting because I wanted to get on the agenda and you guys would not let me get on the agenda. And I think, and I wanna, I'll give him credit here because he's trying to get people to be allowed on the agenda to speak on what people have concerns about on this city.
Did you contact the city to ask to get on? Did you contact the office to ask?
Yes,
to
I
get on?
did.
And
They
also-
told me I couldn't get on the commission, the agenda.
And Dan, I never spoke to you, so please don't say that.
Yes,
I
we,
acknowledge it.
that's true.
Okay.
We personally did not speak.
Right.
You're right.
Thank you.
And actually, our conversation wasn't in this room, it was by the doorway.
No, it wasn't either. It was right here.
Well,
You were,
It's not where I remember it, so.
no, Larry was sitting right there and you were sitting either this chair or this chair and I was standing right between you guys when I talked about it.
That's all I remember.
But whatever, I'm just saying, and as far as that dirt, I had mentioned, you guys never even thought of it. Yeah, you were saying that there was some clay in there, a lot of dirt. You guys keep adding on to this, area out here, keep pushing into the coulee. A lot of that could have been there, and you guys aren't even thinking. Our city, pickups and stuff are sitting outside, deteriorating from the sun and stuff. Eventually down the road, you guys could have had a shop here for the city. The people could park their vehicles, get the vehicles out of the sun and stuff, get them out of the weather. Either that or you guys need to get that stuff over there where the shop is, over the city shop. Needs to start putting it over there instead of leaving everything set out and deteriorating. And I believe there's been other stuff done in the city here that was kind of a little shady. I can't prove anything, so I'm not gonna say anything more about that. But I've got pictures of all that dirt that went over there, of the contractor going over with the loader. Why is the contractor going over there with the loader and piling it up? Besides, yes, there's semi trucks they're hauling, that dirt's just about gone already. That's west of that grain bin site. And they're going south on 200 with that dirt. So that's being used, no matter if it's being used for filling in holes or whatever, but it had some use of it, some use, and all your figures and stuff. Was any labor that
It was.
of the people sitting and waiting to be loaded on the truck when the next truck came in? That was all configured in there.
Yeah, because that would be that pre-construction part, whereas the third of that was around 30,000.
Okay, I'm just saying, this is costing the taxpayers more money, and we're already talking about more street projects, and we're having problems with this last street project the way it is now, and you guys are talking about more street projects. I think we need to sit down with the engineers, and you guys need to figure out something else as far as, you guys need to, I think that was the wrong way to do it, the way they did it with the millings and mixed it up with the gravel. I think they ought to mill that off just like the state does on the highway, put that off to the side, and then use it wherever you need to, instead of, we bought a bunch of millings off the state of highway to put down by the boat ramp when we could have used our own street millings for stuff like that.
If I could just say real quick on that, it was a cheaper option to do that. because he recycled it, so it did save us money on the project cost to do that. So I guess to accurately see how much it cost, you'd want to see how much it would cost if he did, like you say, and then compare that to the price of purchasing millings to see if there'd actually be a cost
Yeah.
savings. So, but just to be clear, it did save us money by allowing him to use that technique.
Okay, I think in the future, we need to look at, we need to sit down and really look at how we're doing our street projects, I really do. And not only that, Dakota Agronomy up there was told that they're gonna have some of these millings and stuff, and I don't think they got harmed. If he got anything, it was barely nothing for them having that pile put on their lot up there, you know? But other than that, I think we, you know, we put more cost for the taxpayers because of the way the street was done.
Would you have an estimated figure for how much more? Or are you just kind of, is that based on your feelings? Or do you have
That's my feeling, that I think the taxpayers are paying more for the street project than it would have to because of the way the dirt was taken care of with the, and there was pavement in it. I've got pictures of that too. And if it was big chunks, it doesn't matter, there was pavement in it. So, I don't know, I guess, we'll see what happens in the future, I guess, but, I guess we'll go from there.
Hey Chelsea.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Eric from
I've got one more thing.
Sorry, the engineer's talking here.
First thing I wanted to clarify is that the process the contractor used to reclaim the millings, they were reclaimed millings. Now there's a difference between millings, like what they do on the highway when they grind them off the top and they repave over the top of that, and an asphalt reclaimer. And the contractor's technique of using asphalt reclaimer produces a different consistency of material when they grind up the asphalt versus mill the asphalt. And that's why you see the differences between stuff like what Jamie has up on his property that he purchased and what the city purchased to resurface the boat ramp. It's a different product. Reclaimer is a different process, and it's something that the contractor used to be able to achieve the spec 50/50 base mix. So that's one point I wanted to make. And the other point is, you know, when we went to bid this project was hundreds of thousands of dollars under the estimate. And that's comparing it to other paving projects that are out in the market at that time. So when you want to talk about saving, you know, the price on the project, the techniques that were used, most certainly, I can say with comparing it with real time other projects that are going on in the area, it saved the city hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to do the 50/50 base mix and to have the contractor do the job the way they did it. I know there were some spots where it took longer to get the paving done, but I just wanted to state those facts and make sure everybody was aware of that.
Thank you, Eric.
I don't know if everybody heard that or not.
I just had one more thing, but it was,
Would you like to come to the table again?
it's just gonna take me a second here.
Okay,
It's, the sealing and chipping, is that part of the deal here, that $2 million, or is it, you know, that's gonna have to be done, you know, in the next year or so?
Typically 2 years after the project's done, but no, the crack sealing and chipping is not included
Do you
in
know
this.
do you have any idea what that's gonna cost or anything?
Eric, can you chime in with that? Do you have an idea of what it would be to finish that road up there when it comes time?
Can you clarify which road that you're talking about?
The project area, sorry, because it will need the seal coat.
Yeah, so I would say it depends on if you want the whole project area that was just done. I know the last street improvements project has not been chip sealed or fog sealed or anything like that. So it would just depend on how much the city wants to get done. If the intention is the city wants the last year's project to be seal coated, I have a quantity for that. I would just have to run an estimate and I could let you know.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind, that way, they have that information as well.
I most certainly can do that.
Thank you.
So I do have one more question for Eric. Why isn't a contractor, why isn't the chipping and sealing part of the project right off the bat? Even though if it's a year or two out, that should be part of the project whenever they do the project.
I guess my answer to that is, I don't know that that's expected to be part of the project. I know that there's some cities in North Dakota that typically do a seal coat job or like a fog seal over the top of a street after it's been paved. But typically that's at least a year or two after. It's not necessarily or typical to have that part of the initial paving contract or reconstruction job. In my experience, I don't know that any small town's really done that, but I can most certainly, if that's something this commission is interested in doing, we can plan to do that on future street projects.
One thing about your question, if a contractor were to bid that out now, they don't know what the oil prices would be from today to 2 years ago. So they're gonna bid it on the high end, to where if oil prices are down, we might get a cheaper bid,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
And then it would be included in that amount, that would be special assessed. And then if it didn't come in, we would have to go through and refund that money.
Okay.
Yes.
So
No, that's just a question. That was
Yeah.
just a question. you
No,
know.
that's fine. Thank you for, raising your
Thank you.
concerns.
I had a question about that, just.
Sure.
Is there like a public meeting or a group for when you guys do decide to repair the streets or make any? Like, is there a part where the public gets to come in and help, or like, I don't know how that works, I guess.
Yes, we do have a public hearing meeting, and then we'll post that. And then, we'll take questions, and then, when we get bids in, then, people have the opportunity to protest that out.
Okay, so you decide then, cause your streets,
Well,
who decides like what's gonna happen, and do you already have projects set up ahead where you can be like, this is what we plan on doing?
Well, we're looking at a project up here by Heritage. But nothing has gone forward on that project. We're just looking at that would be one of the next places because of the condition of the roads. Yeah, that we would probably go in that direction
Just to figure out how
if
to
needed, but
come with common ground with community, I didn't know. if they
one
had
of my
specific-
concerns is to go up there and maintain all the roads in Washburn, but to repair what we can repair to get more longevity out of our roads. If we don't do nothing with these potholes, they're just gonna fall apart, and it's just gonna be a domino effect if we don't maintain what we have.
It's true, and cheaper isn't always better, you know.
Right.
yeah, I mean, and I'm new to this portfolio, but just even in this meeting, there's gonna be talk about voting on some curb and gutter repair.
Okay,
And then, I guess, going forward, I guess the goal is trying to meet with Adam or maybe even Chelsea monthly and just kind of go over that stuff. So
new stuff.
if any of that stuff needs to be somewhat published, fine, you know, and then somebody can ask about it if they want to. So if that's a step forward,
Yeah, I don't know, I was just trying to figure out like where the community, if they had input or.
there were many people from that project area that did come in or kept asking, when are these streets gonna be repaired up in that area? Now we're more so hearing it over in Heritage Heights with Custer and all that too, like, are these streets ever going to be fixed? And that's why the project area that just got done last year, we did proceed with that, because we did hear a lot from the people in that area. So it's also helpful for those residents to come in, because they get specialed. It is a large amount of money, and ultimately, if more people protest it, the project will fail, and they don't have to proceed with it,
So it's
because
just
too
you
many people
guys.
protested it.
Okay, so it's just you guys, and then you're just kind of at the whim of what everybody else, whether agrees or doesn't agree with you. Like to let the project go or not.
No, the residents protested.
Yeah.
Like, if we had enough people up in that project area that protested against it, they could have not proceeded with it.
But you create that project. Like, the commission creates that project.
Based off of the needs of, or hearing the voices of the residents, yes.
Okay.
Well, like this spring, I went up to the Heritage Heights area, Custer Drive, and I counted over 30 problem areas. And now the city went up and fixed about half of them. There's still a number of issues up there. I'd like to see those all kind of dealt with one way or another.
And do you ask for community support? Cause I mean, like, you have people that are in highway trucking, construction, like, there is a lot of, within this community that do stuff like that. So that's why I was just wondering if there's like a board or like a committee, I think is what I was asking more so, like, for the public to join, but, okay, good. Thanks, Christie.
Are all the
Is there-
assessment prices out and everything now as far as the property and what everybody's gonna be assessed on that? Is that finalized?
No, I'm kicking it back to the committee. Because the protest that would have been heard tonight, this commission could not answer. So instead of having that public hearing tonight, we postponed it. I'm gonna set up another meeting for a public hearing, for all the new protests that we had with the way that it was changed, for the committee to be able to answer those questions, or look at reverting it back or changing it if they want to based on those protests. Then it would still have to come to a public hearing of the commission for their certification, I guess, of the numbers too. So I was hoping it would be done after tonight, but no, it's not. Because I think the protesters deserve a chance to be heard with why they feel those numbers are unfair.
So I may say why we were unable to answer was because the numbers were changed after the public hearing for the special assessment. Once the numbers were changed, it should have went back to a public hearing with the special assessment rather than directly to us, so just to clarify.
So
It
it'll be
doesn't
for-
have
it'll be
to,
for the whole-
But I think it's more fair that way.
It definitely should,
Yes.
for sure, yeah.
So it'll be a public meeting.
There will be another one, yes. I need to set that up yet. I don't have the date for
Where
that.
would they have it this time? You remember the last time we had it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keith does know how to work the sound system over there.
I learned after that meeting.
So,
I'm learning this thing.
We can, otherwise I know Gary
Yeah,
did
it was,
suggest moving it downstairs. I think that would be a better option, cause it's more,
Okay.
a little more
So
homey.
you have to do a 3-week notice on this then?
I'll probably set it up, it should go in the paper for 2 weeks, just so that people have adequate time to
Okay.
get it out there. And we'll post it too, so that people know when it is.
Chelsea, are the updated figures available anywhere?
Yep, they're all online.
Are the
Yep.
previous ones available? Which, see, everybody was talking about that at that meeting. And I don't know who the one guy was, but like I say, I asked and I was, yeah, never mind. But anyway, as far as where you find it, I guess you gotta be mind readers and don't know. I was told, there's the lightning news or something, and
Toledo
and
News.
there's a website, this internet crap came in the last 2/3 of my life, so, after www, I'm screwed. So where to find it, I don't know, and then by the time you do go to some place, it refers you to 15 different places. All I'm gonna ask is one question, but when I put it in, like I say, I have no idea what the numbers for the special what the special fees were. If somebody says, Mark, I'll give you $10 million, tell me what it was. I have no clue. I don't even know if it's per parcel. They were talking about breaking it up if you had one and then you had many parts. None of that stuff. And I'm still confused about it, and I can probably be really PO'd about it, but I don't know, because I have no information on it.
Mr.
And
King.
when I asked, if you guys remember me being there, I said, the first thing out of my mouth was, I'm new to the one, I'm the one that, for the special thing, trying to get the tax deal, that you guys, number 10, okay? I've been here for about a year, okay? I don't know how this city works. I know there's a lot of stuff that went on. If you talk to 10 people, you get 10 different ideas of what's going on, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. I don't know. I don't know how the assessments were done. I just heard it's 50% is what some people get that it's affected and the other people don't. And I asked the question, well, if I don't get to use your stuff, why do I have to pay 50%? Why can't it be 55 and 45? You know, just something silly like that. And boy, did I catch hell for that. No, this is the way it's done, this is the way it's always done. Well, you're not open to new ideas. Like I say, there needs to be, and I've talked with Mark a couple of times, how it's been, you know, I want public transparency, that's what I want. And like I say, I don't know how to get to all these places to find out. I have no idea where it's at, what I'm being charged for, who it's affecting, or anything. I don't know. There needs to be something that they go, well, we put it in the paper. Okay, and then there's the website. There again. Where, how, who, make it simple. You know, that KISS principle, keep it so simple.
I'll make it extremely simple for you. So if you have the phone number for the office, you just call the office and it's public information, so they'll print you off a copy, usually free of charge.
Okay,
So
now,
they send
see,
you code
let
lots
me ask you a question. You just said what office? You've got all the information. I don't. What office are you talking about?
This
City
office, the city
Right, right
office.
here.
Okay.
She's
Well,
sitting,
this,
she'll
this
answer
is
the
my
phone.
knowledge lady right here. I met her about a year and a half or 2 years ago. Fabulous.
Yes.
Kudos.
She'll probably be the one to answer the phone for you. She'll get you. Yep. Squared away.
Okay, because like I say, I would like to know, because, you know, it's gonna affect me. And, you know, I'd like to know, like I say, I'm not. Another one is, and that last one over there, is I read in the paper about the second reading or something that was done and passed and all that. I don't remember any of that in that meeting. I mean, it was such a cluster mess that it wasn't unreal. But I don't remember anybody passing a second reading. I don't remember there being a second reading for something.
Didn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
That was on the dog ordinance, the vicious dog ordinance.
What the hell is a vicious dog?
Okay, just real quick.
See, there's my point, but no,
Right.
this was about the special assessments that we went over. You know, that we were,
Well, there was an like Jamie just said, the dog ordinance, there was a dog ordinance second reading last. If we change an ordinance or we have a new ordinance, it has to have 2 readings.
I understand, but
Right,
this was
but-
about the taxes and what we were gonna be assessed.
Oh.
And it said there was a second reading done and passed, and I don't remember, how is it that you always say you need to do the proper way to say it, to introduce something, to get a second, to get another? And there was no introduction to it, no second, no discussion, and no vote. I do not remember it.
I think where you're getting confused is that, if I remember correctly, that was published in the same thing of the Leader News, and they're right next to each other. So I think that might have been causing some confusion, because there was the dog ordinance, it was like near the back, right? Near the back
Right, I
there was
remember
the-
reading
yeah,
that, yeah.
Near the back, I think it was, so please, I might be wrong, but like dog ordinance, and then it was the whole special assessment, all the way onto another page. So that might be where the confusion is coming in, because the second was passed for the dog ordinance, but maybe the line break was missing or something, but then it was the special assessment, so it was separate, but yeah. I understand where the confusion is coming from.
Okay.
And then if I may expand your scope as well, if you wanna know like how they came to these numbers, the meeting minutes for all their special assessments are public information as well. You can ask for copies of that, and that'll have all that information.
Is that you?
I have them all.
I can get them from her.
Chelsea, do you have meeting minutes from that special meeting that we had?
The public hearing? Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you.
The only thing that might be confusing to you too, when it was in the paper, it had a lot and the addition that you're in. It didn't have your street address or anything like that, so if you didn't know what addition you were in, you have no idea what you're looking at.
Well, one of the things that I did was I had 5, 6, 7 lots or something, and I put it all together, so while they were sitting there talking, they didn't know if they were in, what I understood from that mess was they didn't know if they were gonna do per lot, even though you had it all put together, and I'm sorry, I do not know the name of that, you combined it,
You had yours surveyed,
yes,
so yours technically is 1 lot.
okay?
But
But see, now, what they were talking about was the individual parcels in that lot. I remember the very first one I was here, they were talking about parcels and lots and things and plots and I was trying to do putting it all together. And I sat in that chair right there and I said, I am totally confused now.
When you have to go back to his.
Because I have no idea what's going on, so
his is all combined.
I don't, like I say, right now, I don't know what the special
He had lots like this.
fees, did they break it down where it is, or is now mine all just one?
Call me tomorrow.
Okay. Perfect.
We can go over it more.
Okay.
Okay, is there any more discussion on the 2023 street project dirt hauling? If not, we're gonna move on.
Or just go on GIS.
Okay, not hearing any, we're gonna move on. Number 13, Washburn agenda submission form.
I'm going for a new personal record and most items submitted to one agenda, so here I am again. So just with, so this comes from our previous meeting, Mark kind of mentioned that there might have been some issues with people getting on the agenda. I guess I want to just flush out the protocol for that just slightly, so that the basic gist of it is, you'd call the office, if it gets referred to a portfolio, it'd get referred to that portfolio, or it'd get placed on the agenda. All I have is, I just wrote up a little document, where at the top it would have name, email or phone number, agenda item title, agenda date, and then a description, and then you'd either email or just drop off, they'll scan the documents, which is exactly what we do now, but now there would be something for it, so there'd be records, right? So then below here, it would be, was this forwarded to the relevant portfolio, yes or no? Was it approved or denied? And if it was denied, it needs to be filled out why. So then we don't have like a, well, I was not allowed on the agenda, well, okay, then we have why and who did that, and just more information in that regard. So then it's not like this, like behind the scenes thing, it'd be a public record where, okay, I requested to be on the agenda, why was I not let on? It better be documented, right? So that's just to increase our transparency and just to kind of foster a more open communication, and then also just to better give kind of like direction to the office ladies of like, okay, so here this came in, we made this decision, and then it doesn't seem like they're just telling you no or whatever. There'd be a reason why you were either forwarded to then come on later, or it was denied by whoever, and then who denied it, their name would be on there. So I guess, any questions? This would be a new thing we'd implement, I guess, so I would motion to implement this unless other people want to discuss.
Sure, I got one thing to add to that.
Did you motion?
No. Not really, no.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark. Thanks.
Okay, this is on your general procedure guideline.
Are you talking about this, Mark? You said on your agenda.
Well, under your,
That's it, bookie gate or that.
Yes.
Oh,
yep,
I'm
yep.
sorry, okay.
so if you go under portfolios, it talks, and this was a concern raised by a couple of the people from the public. Let's see. Okay, as a general rule, each commission member will be on a single portfolio. You can think of portfolios as specific delegated responsibilities as a city commission. The best practice would be for anything that falls within the portfolios to go through the portfolio holder before reaching the city commission. That was a concern a year ago when this got brought up, because if you brought up something to a city commissioner about a portfolio item, if that person didn't bring it forward to the commission, he could just hang on to it. That's where I think we need a step to go around that commissioner, just in case if somebody goes to that person and say, I want to get on the agenda, and then that person doesn't relay that message to the city auditor.
Yes, and you might have misunderstood this, because this would be filed with the city auditor, so this is that step.
Right.
This is the step where basically, if that portfolio denied it, it would then be documented by the city auditor. So yes, this is that.
Right.
Yes. Mhm.
So I think that's where the confusion was in the past, to where we had issues that things weren't being brought, because items were being brought up to commissioners, but then I watch all the commission meetings and nothing was ever talked about those items of interest.
Were these requests to be on the agenda, or just you were talking about something in general?
Well, no, they were talked about, but then you would think the person that said, say if you had, buildings and grounds, and I brought up issues that I wanted to talk, but then they say, buildings and grounds, do you have anything? Nope, I have nothing. Even though that you know that there's an issue, you know what I mean?
This
You're not bringing it forward to the commission.
Yeah, this wouldn't solve that problem.
I know.
Right,
But that-
so,
So then that's another issue,
sure.
to make sure that the public's concerns are being met by that commissioner.
Yep, that wouldn't exactly be relevant to this specific agenda item, but definitely we can. look into that, yeah. Me? Yeah,
No.
Thinking?
Huh?
Like, I have
Well,
a
that's
script on my
okay.
face?
I think there's also
What's
something,
your problem?
I think there's also something
That's
in our,
all right.
there's also something in our guidelines, Mark, as far as what's done right here.
Yeah, I
That was
don't,
out of line, Dan, so.
I don't condone that,
Okay, go ahead.
but that's all right. So anyways, that's my concern of making sure that we hear the public and the public has a chance. That's why I wanna create kind of an open forum, limit it to a couple minutes, and that's on the agenda, so.
Yeah,
And
that's the
if I
next
can
item.
come,
But go ahead.
yeah, along those ideas, following those ideas, it's a good idea for that to be followed up. I don't know if this would work, but how the school used to do it, let's say that you had an issue with a teacher, and you wanted to come to the board with it, they would say, no, you need to visit with the teacher first. And I'm sure your husband would appreciate this. You need to visit with the teacher first. If you don't get it reconciled, then you go to the principal and then it's kicked up the ladder, so it's the last thing. And I think maybe we could institute something like that if you go to I don't know who would wanna know about water and sewer with me, but let's say that you would go to a portfolio and you didn't get your situation rectified, then somewhere in this form you'd say, I talked to Tim about the manhole cover being gone, he could care less, so then it gets kicked. Then they could come here and say, this was not rectified, we need to bring it here. Is that something you were looking at, something like that, Mark?
Yeah,
So that there'd be a next step for people.
okay.
Does that make sense?
A good example is about 4 months ago, I brought up a culvert down by the ferry boat, that new culvert piping we put in for the drainage up to,
I guess I'm not familiar with it, but yeah.
okay, well anyways, the culvert has failed and now it washed out above the culvert and it's came apart. And I brought that up to Eric like 4 months ago. And I haven't heard any discussion on if they're gonna go in, because now the culvert is separated and water is building up behind it when we have a big,
You visited with Eric, but not with the,
well, I brought it up to Eric to bring
okay, guys.
forward to the city.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
You know.
just having a unified process would be much better than that, because, I mean, you can't really assume malicious intent or anything in that regards for all these cases, because people just forget, like,
Well,
hey, we just got done with coffee, hey, that pothole, huh? And then he doesn't say anything, we can't be mad about that, like.
No,
like
I'm not
we-
saying there's any malicious intent. I'm just
Well,
saying
what I'm
that
saying is like if someone was hiding it or whatever it may be, where it'd be best for it to just continue to go through the office.
communication, we need a better form of communication to get information, so it'll come in, it'll be processed, and then we can document it.
That's what this is. Yeah,
Right.
this is literally a document to do that, and then it anchors it to the office. So that way, like if there was an issue with commissioner or whatever it may be, that would be documented multiple times, and it's like, okay, what's going on here, So then they can actually be addressed, but yeah.
I was just hoping the engineer would bring it toward to the city, because if I brought it up, I felt, I don't know if that it would be heard.
Yeah, probably the better step would have been taking it to Adam, or to a commissioner, so.
Yeah. And this could be a start of a job ticket too. I mean, I don't know if that's a word for it, but if an issue comes up and it's an archived, okay, this is an issue we have to deal with.
You're talking about something like this.
I guess if we use this and then that was the beginning of the
The
deal.
process.
And then say if it's roads, then Chelsea could send it over and so-and-so stop by and.
Right.
Then at least it's a start of something,
Right. And it can be tweaked as we go on.
So, yeah.
Can I ask for some clarification just real quick?
Sure.
So like, we know our waiver of fees, our liquor licenses, our gaming permits, like all those are agenda items that we know have to be approved. can we go ahead and fill this out and still put them on the agenda, or does everything need to be sent to you guys, as that portfolio holder to be confirmed first?
No, you just hit no.
Okay,
You just press the no if it was not forwarded.
Okay.
Yep. So then it's just like, because then if something should have been forwarded, then we can look back and go, oh, why wasn't this forwarded? And just
Right.
talk about it, figure out a better process.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. I guess at least if you got it sent to you, at least I mean, if you didn't even have a chance to respond to it, at least you'd know about it.
Yes.
Coming into the meeting, yeah, so.
Okay.
So I guess-
So you would like to make a motion?
Yeah, I would motion to implement this process of these being filled out for all agenda items.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Not hearing?
Yes.
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 All right, thank you. All right, open forum at each meeting. I guess that's mine. So anyways, I would like to, being our constitutional right, we should be able to come forward to the city commission and speak our concerns. Even if it's about alleys, dogs, whatever your concerns are. So I would like to see something put on the agenda for an open forum, limited to 2 minutes of time. They need to follow the guidelines of an agenda.
What do you mean by that? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, be professional, not,
What do you mean,
yeah, meeting guidelines. Just so, if they're gonna sit and just ramble on about the same thing for 2 minutes and who's ever running the meeting needs to cut them off. Once they get their point across, And if they come back at the next meeting and wanna just do it again, then, they have to come up with a way to, they're gonna have to come with a topic, stay on that topic, and not, veer off.
Sounds like what you do when you submit yourself to an agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we have.
But just in case if somebody comes here and says, hey, I'd like to speak, and then you get 5 words in, and it's like, no, we don't wanna hear from you anymore. You gotta give them ample time.
There's just some clarification on that, Mark, because you're saying
Sure.
that you'd like to give them the 2 minutes, but then shortly after that, you said that if they're just rambling about something, that they'd be cut off.
Well, if they're repeating themselves, you know what I mean?
My only suggestion would be if we're absolutely going for freedom of speech, it should be a timer
Okay.
and anything but illegal speech, honestly.
Right.
Like, if that's what
Well-
you're looking to do, that's what it should be.
But that's, okay, I guess what I'm saying is you give them the 2 minutes. But then if they wanna continue on past that 2 minutes, then I guess you have enough evidence to say, okay, we've heard your speech or whatever it is. You know
But
what
2
I
minutes would
mean?
be over, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess my only thing would be that it would just be an absolute, if this is what we were going to do, it would just be uninterrupted, literally 2 minutes. Like, no interruptions at all.
Well, as long as there's no cussing and
Or
swearing.
cussing or threats of
Yeah.
violence or anything that would be actually illegal, right?
Right.
Because if not, it's just kind of pointless, because why would they just submit to the agenda?
Yeah, let's see, what are we gonna gain, because we have a very simple form here to get on the agenda, so.
I think that's a good idea, but then you guys decide, okay, 2 minutes, that needs to be an agenda item.
Mhm.
And then let them to be on the agenda and go back to your form then.
At the
And
next
So that'd be
meeting,
agenda item the
Yeah.
next time, because it's taking up too much time.
correct.
Or maybe,
No, James, please.
could we start with this agenda item request, see if that gets people involved, and then maybe approach this open one, because I mean, it kind of keeps more formality to the meeting if we stick with an agenda.
It would be nice to have it more organized.
Yeah,
I agree to
I
that.
like Jamie's idea, we've already switched this, which I think is a good idea, and let's see whether this cures the problem, cause like, Rochelle came in today and we allowed her to be on, the agenda for that.
Yep.
And like, well, the bank thing, they're not here, they just send us a letter, but I mean, so we're open to that type of thing. You know, I think we need, deadlines are deadlines, we need to look at that kind of stuff, but I think we've been pretty open in the past, but I would concur with Jamie that let's try this here and see whether,
Mhm.
Mark, see whether it takes care of what you're looking at and.
Yep.
So,
Okay. Yeah, I'm open for discussion, definitely, but I
You know,
just wanna see, you know, we have approximately about 300 people that watch this meeting at home. You know, we have a good crowd, sometimes there's hardly anybody here. So, but if somebody comes here and all of a sudden they decide, hey, you know, I finally got the gumption enough to speak up about something, let's give them an opportunity.
And then your thoughts, Mark, on, go ahead, Rashad.
Sorry, just as a community member when that all happened, I understand why it happened, and I think over time it kind of organized how we all wanna communicate, correspond with respect, you know? But it did make us feel as a community that we were shut out. And like there was nothing you could do to get on the agenda. If you missed your time, you missed your time. If something popped up, you were just kind of out of luck. I don't even know if people understood that like today, and because of the way Chelsea responded, I felt like I had an opportunity to actually get in, even though I had missed the time frame. But I don't even know if like the public even realizes that they can, there's still a chance, you know what I mean, that they can come on.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Go ahead, Tim.
yeah, and I guess my suggestion would be is that, you know, I like what Jamie said here, and let's try this, see whether it cures the problem. But if we do need to go that way, I guess my recommendation is that you would put it at the end. Reason being is that you might have someone that comes in here, well, you know, I'm agenda item number 12, that's what I've got time for, that's what I'm planning for. You don't know whether this is gonna take 2 minutes or 2 hours. So to have someone have to sit when they've got other things, I think we should be respectful first of the people that are on the agenda.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And then put it after everything else is done.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on. So, City and Park Board Recoalition.
Reconciliation.
Oh,
Hi,
reconciliation.
me
Sorry.
again. So, this is the Washburn
Steal
City
it,
and
show
Park
off.
Reconciliation 2024. I, Keith Happip, have noticed since coming on the City Commission in 2022 a level of contention and animosity between the Park Board and the City Commission. This document is not to point fingers, but rather to promote peace and unity going forward between the two parties. Whether the past contentions were due to personality conflicts between individuals, poor policy, or other transgressions, we must push towards peace. I think that we can all agree that the squabbles and tit for tat between separate taxpayer-funded entities does not serve our shared constituents. It is impossible to assert that both parties operated perfectly in the past or will continue to do so in the future due to humans being involved on both sides. With that being true, we still must strive to work together in unity to best serve our community. Please see the following 3-step action plan to achieve this goal. Part 1, clarity on the past. Included in this folder is a phone conversation between myself and Mark Lellon. When speaking to him, it appears as if there was a lot of current issues that must be resolved between the city and the Park Board. The following is a list of things that I'm bringing forward to seek resolution on. Whether these issues are already resolved or further action is required to reach a resolution, I seek to open communication on these top subjects at your upcoming meetings. This would be to the Park Board meeting. I'd be looking to go there, which I'll ask for later. So if more of a conversation is required, I wouldn't be looking to solve these issues like that night. Basically what I want to do, I want to see, Mark just had a list of things, I want to see if they're actually issues between the city and the Park Board. Or if they're, because I don't want any miscommunication where we try and fix a problem that doesn't actually exist, and then it's just wasted resources on trying to fix that problem. So this way we could just reestablish communication, which in my opinion has been broken between us and the Park Board. So just a few of those things, just for the commissioners, these are some things that I would just go talk to the Park Board about, come back to you guys, and we'd see how we want to proceed from there. I have 3 different options for that. So Riverside Park ownership and responsibility. According to the included conversation, the Park Board safety deposit box, the Park Board owns Riverside Park. And I want to see if them as board members are okay with the maintenance and responsibility that's currently set up. If they'd like a more formal agreement in place in regards to the park that would define responsibilities and maintenance. There was something brought up about lack of provision of funding. Allegedly, something was pulled from Park Board And I wanna know if that's an issue, what funds were pulled, what's the possible resolution for this, for the fish cleaning station, who gets paid for what, land swap issues, and all these other things that are included in here. I also wanna see if they have anything that they'd like for us to discuss and work on and that sort of stuff, so that'll basically, it's set how time is, with past, present, and future. So that's past stuff, this would be present stuff, so how we're gonna currently operate as individual entities. With the two separate entities with separate meetings, and that's historically caused confusion if these issues would be resolved at a park board meeting or city meeting. With this in mind, it'd be best to have a guideline in which how we can resolve these disagreements now and in the future. There's three possible solutions I see to this. Just to save time, I'll just give you the short version of it. So either resolved, and it's like a set meeting place, so like high noon at the park board meeting, and that's just where everyone knows, it's like, okay, all the city park board stuff is done there. So it's not like, you come to my meeting, no, you come to my meeting, nothing like that, I've seen it. So basically that way, that'd be one way to do it, but it's set, agreed upon between the two parties, and then we'd be able to proceed from there. There'd be set guidelines on how to do that. So that's option one. Option two would be a joint meeting between the two respective boards with a third-party parliamentarian and moderating the meeting. That'd probably be for big conflicts, or whatever. So that'd be all 10, and then an intermediate person you actually have to hire, and they moderate the meeting. I don't think that's extremely necessary day to day. But then another one would be issues resolved by a committee, so maybe two and two, so then there's not a quorum, and they'd be able to work it out and bring it back to respective boards. So I'm gonna bring it to them if it's okay first, say, hey, these are three options. Which ones would you guys like? Let them have the first option, see where they would like to go, and then I can bring that back here, and then we can discuss that and decide how we want to proceed with that. So that past, that was present, and now for the future. So just foundation for the future. With both the past cleared up and the operational guidelines for how to proceed, the question is asked, where do we proceed to? So I put together a sample statement of unity that sets a new foundation for a shared vision of unified governmental entities in the service of Washburn. This would take us from the current merry-go-round of rumors, accusations, and past conflict by removing any ambiguity of both parties' intentions when dealing with one another. The current operation of he said, she said information fog of war does nothing of value to the residents of Washburn. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Every city or house divided against itself will not stand. Obviously, I'm open to suggestions on everything in this statement. It would be no binding power on either party, but it would simply be a statement of intent for us to unify for the shared goal of serving the populace of Washburn, North Dakota. And it's here. One page is all unity statements should be. Washburn Parks and City Statement of Unity. Whereas a cooperative relationship between the park board and city best serves the population of Washburn, North Dakota. Whereas open and honest communication and good faith is essential for the maintaining of human relationships. Whereas seeking to serve rather than to be served is true leadership that provides value to our community. Whereas petty squabbles and fights only cause division and tear down, not build up our community. Whereas our government should be of the people, by the people, and for the people, not for personal gain or to be used for one's own personal grudges. Therefore, we, the Park Board and City Commission, put the past to rest and seek to work in unity with one another for the betterment of our community. We strive for open, honest, and transparent communication between our respective entities, to not let bitterness gain a foothold in our relationship, and to seek to work as a team to work through any issues. We strive to be quick to forgive and to assume the best if a perceived slight has occurred. To operate with utmost professionalism and communication to avoid offense where possible, to seek the truth rather than rumors so that decisions will be based on facts, to work together with our community in mind and how we can serve them. Okay. There you go.
Sure you don't need a drink of water?
Yeah, that's okay.
I'll share. No, that was a very good, Keith. I totally agree to that. I think there's been issues in the past that festered. I was on the park board at the time. I felt that they were getting kind of a raw deal back then. Now that I'm on the city commission, I'm hoping that we can have a balanced field and work together as a team.
Perfect. So I guess if we want to discuss this, then I'll do my motion, or?
Well, if you don't mind. So,
Go for it.
one concern, and I'm fine if the park board wants to clean the bathrooms down at Riverside Park, things like that. But I believe they sit on city property. They were built during, what I was told, during the walking trail. It was a city project, and now, according to the park board president, the bathrooms belong to the park board. I would like to know how that transpired, being it's on city property.
Yeah, I can make a note to definitely ask him about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if the city wants to turn them over, I'm fine with that. We just have to do it the right way. We can't sit there and just say, here you go, and we don't bring it up at a city commission meeting. I mean, it's gotta be done legally, in the eye of the public. Whichever avenue that it takes to get that done, or, because last year they spent over $2,000 in labor cleaning those bathrooms. I don't know what they've spent this year, but that's an added expense that the city hasn't had to take in. If we wanna give up that responsibility, so we don't have that added expense, that's something that, we need to understand what's going on.
Yeah, no, I can definitely ask him that. That'd be part of the Riverside Park, the responsibilities. and
Same thing with the two shelters that's on that same property. And then Larry's here, maybe, or maybe Zach could tell, those, water structures, you know, that, the old otter tail, water tanks.
Yeah, cause that's a
What's,
shelter.
what is that? I mean, what's inside, or,
Those are, there used to be a pump house there,
right?
and, what would happen is they would pump from the river into those
Was he
tanks,
talking
and
about
then
this
from
Missouri
those tanks, they
Avenue?
would pump up
Oh,
the
okay, that one.
Do you know why they were never
I was
tore
always kinda
out or
wondering,
anything?
Probably
if you
because they're
like
about
when you're
foot
talking to
thick and-
Liddell or
Okay,
anything,
just-
At the
like,
time,
I understand the city wanting to keep.
Is there any
easement rights,
concern of
but
those things ever
if the city wants to
collapsing,
keep
or?
easement rights for getting utilities through, but is there any way
I just said they're
to
foot thick.
Okay.
abandon
No, I just
this?
wondering,
say,
you know,
starting wherever that.
if, at some
walking trail
point,
starts,
they might have to
Legally
come
to
down,
abandon,
but
like,
I don't know
yourself
when
over
or
there.
whatever.
It'd be expensive.
Agree?
I'm sure they're all
Right.
rebar, like
So
crazy.
you'd have
Sure,
that way of
yep.
work here, so you'd have to have, and then what
But-
happens.
Just so you know, I'm
They could have. this
you know, 95% sure that the park board.
Regular,
those
man,
bathrooms in
this
down
would
there,
be
not the
something a
city.
little bit different.
Adam said, he's not here, and maybe you can double check with him, I don't know if they can find a bill in the past, but when Adam was on the park board, they put those bathrooms in when that walking trail was redone.
Like, somewhat keep the easement rights, but like, give up the.
Oh yes, and that one shelter, and that was all done
whether it's not
when
permanent, or at
the
least,
walking
like,
trail was
readdress
put in
it
down there.
5-10
We
years.
looked through meeting minutes, Erica did, she could not find anything, but if it was discussed and the park board made that decision, we obviously wouldn't have it in the meeting minutes, I don't know if there's a bill for it that the park board could find. However many years ago, they probably don't have them anymore, but yes, Adam was on the park board at the time, and the park board put those bathrooms in.
That's good to know.
But until since 2023, we always thought the city owned all Riverside Park. Until the deed finally came up, and it's like, oh, the park board, park district owns Riverside Park, but then Missouri Avenue that is still there has easements with the power line and everything else,
The
so,
point is, it's a park, the parks took care of it.
yeah. But like now this year, there was some maintenance down there and the park board took care of it, so, you know,
Yeah, I'm looking at.
But
just be able to
it's
solve
like-
all that.
who's really responsible if, you know, for like insurance, for the maintenance of the building, if they wanna help and do the cleaning of it, to take that,
I'd say, Mark, I think Jamie had a good suggestion. I think
Sure.
it's something we should just ask David Lindell.
One
that
thing,
sounds good.
sorry, one thing we were just kind of
Oh.
following about is like, yeah, you know, like the bathrooms technically on Missouri Avenue.
Yep.
And, you know, can we, as a city, somewhat keep the easement or utility rights, but then basically gift it or lease it over to the park board, so it is truly the park
That's-
board?
That's
Is that
something to look
Cause
into,
you don't
or
wanna,
vacate it,
oh, you
and
don't wanna,
then-
you don't wanna vacate, because half the property goes this way and half the property goes that way, so you don't wanna vacate.
Well-
Because then you lose, easements, yeah, so I think what Jamie has here is a better idea, yeah, vacating would not be the city's benefit.
I know I'm a property owner adjacent,
Yeah, if that would be vacated, you would acquire half of it.
I would donate that over. to the
Well,
park board.
you might, but somebody else might not.
Right,
Yeah, you got the other couple guys over here.
right,
Yeah, so
but that's something to look into, so. I would definitely
Is
If
that
I may
something
say
we
one
wanna?
more thing, it's all city-owned property,
Yeah.
whether it's the park board or the city, it's all city-owned property.
Right.
I think just, you know, blow it out.
I think we're splitting hairs over something that
Well,
hairs don't need.
When it comes to money though, it's like, who's gonna pay for it? That's where. it
That's why I
comes
wanna see
down
if it's
to.
actually an issue, that's the whole point
Yeah.
of this, instead of us trying to go back, well, I wonder who did that and who did this. It's more so like we can go directly to them, is this an issue, if so, how can we fix this issue, we fix that issue, we move on to resolution, we move along.
Right.
You know,
Well, I'm just concerned that maybe the park board is gonna say, we don't want that responsibility anymore, because it's technically, we don't know whose building it is, right?
Yep.
But I'm just saying, we gotta know who's responsible for the building.
yep, which is absolutely
And
part of this.
then talking to David Lindell is a great idea.
So then it'd be, then we'd have that present place,
Yep.
or whatever they decide on, then those things can be discussed, and obviously US Buildings and Grounds would be part of
Sure.
that and that sort of thing, so yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I guess my motion would be that I have reserved a space on their agenda for Wednesday night, this Wednesday night. I'm not gonna go there on my own volition and representing the city, but as, with your guys' permission, I would like to do that. So I motion to have me go present this at their next meeting in 2 days or whatever.
I'll second that. Did you second? Okay, I'll let Tim second it. Any more discussion? Keith?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. Making progress. Okay, Chelsea, you wanna talk about the additions, deletions to the insurance policy, or you want?
The mixers were added on, so we had mixers installed into our, both water towers, our Senex water tower and the Heritage Heights water tower. Approved by the commission to implement these structures to help with the water towers, large amount of money. We also had commission approval to replace our grinder down at the lagoon, cause it was faulty and we needed a new one after we had our lagoon sludged and all drug out. So I met with our Western Frontier rep a couple weeks ago to go over our new policy as it is up for renewal. And I had made a comment about these mixers going in and the grinder going in to make sure that they would be added to our policy when they were installed. He told me just to let him know when they were put in and the price of each of them. As though that happened, I sent him an email and I did that. He had called about 2 weeks ago, I think, and there was some issues with adding the grinder to the policy as it was not approved by the commission. So he has not added that grinder to our insurance policy. It has been sitting there. By the time it's installed until we get commission approval, it'll be 18 days that new grinder has not been insured. So he wanted clarification as to if I can add these to our insurance policy or if everything needs to go through commission approval to be added to our insurance policy. And then I took that a step farther than to ask about deletions. If we sell a pickup, we don't want to insure it and be paying for it if we sell it. So I need approval to add the grinder to our insurance policy.
Well, I don't know if you do or you don't. Go ahead. Do you want me to go first?
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I visited with Jesse today, and he was a little confused because he said he's never run into it before. Because what had happened is that Chelsea had insured the grinder, and then the commissioner had said, no, don't insure the grinder. And he said, I've never had that happen before. He said, because like NDERF is common through the county, the schools, everything else, but he said, I was on a commission at one time, and he said, that's not what you do. You had an auditor, you have a superintendent, you have an auditor at the county. That's all their responsibility. Because what happens otherwise is this commissioner says insure it, that commissioner says don't insure it. Well, it's really not the prerogative of a commissioner to take over that. It is the auditor's responsibility to do that. He also said that when he sat down with Chelsea, he commended her for the fact of how well she knew the city, how well she knew the insurance, how well she understood, and how much she learned. So thank you, Chelsea, for that. But I just think that is Chelsea's responsibility. And if we have recommendations like, hey, there's some stuff here that really doesn't need to be insured, it needs to go through her office. Otherwise, let's say we had a lightning strike and burned out our grinder during that 18 days, we have no insurance. Let's say it's $50,000 worth, because we're sitting here trying to decide whether we're gonna insure something. It's like buying a pickup and say, well, you guys can't drive it for 2.5 weeks till we have a commission meeting, because then we'll decide to insure it or not. I just think we need to let the auditor do her responsibility, her job, and to stay out of that part. If we have a question, call her. She'll tell us, what's going on, but that, in my opinion, that, like school, anything else, that solely falls on the auditor. It's her position to be able to do that. So really, I don't see where we even need a motion to approve that, because she already has the authority to do that. Otherwise, we're picking one item out of hundreds of items that are insured. And I don't see the sense of that. It makes no sense. She has that authority to insure it. Go ahead.
And I guess what, in my mind, what gives her that authority to insure it is the commission purchasing it. Like, would we ever buy something and then not insure it? Like, is that standard practice for us? Is that why? Because it's something expensive.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I don't see why we would want to make that a two-step process, add more places where it could go wrong. Because then it's like, oh, we bought this. Oh, but they never got added to the insurance thing. So then it's like, oh, well, we forgot to put that on the thing, and then boom, we have a grinder that's toast.
Well, where it could have gone wrong here is that the insurance got canceled. Well, what would have happened if we'd had a lightning strike, burned up a panel or something else? We'd have been stuck with a huge bill because someone stepped in where they shouldn't have been. That's why Chelsea needs, to have that responsibility, in my opinion. So I've said my piece. But to me, there doesn't need to be any action, because she already has that authority. She's always had that. The auditors before them had that.
I agree with what you just said, Tim, but to uninsure something, I think we should have commission approval.
To uninsure, well, insurance,
Well, in order to take it up, because,
I guess you can go ahead and explain.
well, I would say, we wanna, if we do our homework and then we purchase something, that should be brought up at a commission meeting, hey, make sure we get our insurance on it, I mean, that's part of the process.
But that she
But
just
then,
naturally
but
does.
then to take something off, that should be something like, the last thing we write off is like, okay, we got rid of it, cancel the insurance.
But that goes through her office to cancel it too.
But I mean, if
I guess
I'm just saying to
yeah.
cover her, if she were to take it off premature and we're still using that pickup, and then there's an accident with it, and it's like somebody grabbed the keys and took it out.
I think we keep everything insured, so.
Right, but that's just what
Yeah.
and just so the commission, because
What would you think of the idea of a commissioner would see something like, can't think of an example that, I wonder if that's something that we really need anymore, and should that even still remain insured? Bring it to the auditor's office, go through the right channels, and let them do their job.
right.
Instead
No,
of,
I agree.
because otherwise it becomes micromanaging, and when you micromanage it, it just creates more confusion. If you
Well-
have suggestions, like if you think a building isn't insured enough or too much, then run it through the auditor's office. If she has questions, she'll bring it to the commission.
Right.
And leave the latitude to her if she doesn't feel comfortable with the decision, to bring it to us. Now, I just spoke for you, I hope not, but, yeah.
Oh, it's all right. But like, this insurance meeting was on July 10th. I took office on July 9th. I didn't even know about this insurance meeting and that things were being discussed or changed. That should have been communicated a little bit better.
But you took office July 1st.
I guess I've never had a commissioner sit in with either meeting with Western Frontier or Farmers Union. Now, not to say that can't change if that's something, but that's never been done in the past, and I did not know anybody had that interest.
When I was on the park board, I sat in with all the insurance meetings, same thing with the ambulance.
But you guys don't have an auditor or anything, you guys are everything. On the park board, it's a little different here.
True.
Yeah.
No, she does a
You
fantastic.
had something?
I was just gonna ask, do we have like a minimum that we insure? I mean, obviously you're not gonna insure a shovel. Is there like something that, once it hits $5,000 or 10, is there a certain range that you start insuring, or?
They kind of have that's more so our policy with Farmers Union, where Western Frontier has our like structures and ensure all that stuff where Farmers Union has all our automobiles and like our contents within the office. And that is something that they are changing to, instead of it ensuring it by microwave, by computer. They have all the office equipment listed, but going to a lump sum, I guess, of what it would cost if this place was to burn down, what the contents would be in here to replace them. So changing kind of more to that of where they would all fall into that
Or it's not a line item, it's just a blanketed protection.
blanket, that's the word, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Then there was also some discussion, and I haven't visited with Mike Nelson yet, but I did about a year ago, about it becomes difficult when it's split between two insurance agents, and Jesse said we fully understand why, and we appreciate that you're trying to get each of us business, but visiting with Mike a year ago and visiting with him, it makes it difficult for them. I don't know if he shared that with you too.
He did, yes.
And they would either rather see it that one has all of it or none of it. He said some communities, the school gets one of them, the other one gets the other one. So just something to consider, in that. So the way it's split up, there's some crossovers that are kind of confusing. So that's something for future discussing then.
So Keith, just to clarify, do you think that Chelsea needs direction from the commission in order to insure, you think?
I would say her direction from the commission comes when they purchase or sell something.
Okay.
The purchase would then enact an insurance policy on that, and the sales would then enact an uninsurance on that, if that's even the word, I don't know. But, yeah, so I think the permission would come from that, kind of like when you push your gas pedal, you go forward. There's obviously a lot of processes that come after the pushing of the gas pedal, but the other things are now
Right.
a result of the first thing, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
think
agree.
it'd be too heavy to try
Okay.
and make multiple steps.
All right. Any more discussion on that subject? No, we're gonna move on. All right, good job, Chelsea. Curb and gutter quotes.
Zach, you can take the lead on this, or Jamie.
Zach, you wanna come in and talk a little bit, or? What's that?
I can feel it.
I don't know, Jamie, Keith's kinda warmed up, turn him loose.
Yeah, you're
Don't
good
make me talk
speaker.
about curb and gutter.
Yeah. So, basically, yeah, it sounds like you guys went out for several quotes for concrete, and it looks like we have two people that turned in basically not bids, but estimates. And it looks like, you guys are more so looking at S&R concrete out of Center?
Yeah.
Okay. So I talked to Adam a little bit today, it sounds like you guys got a pretty good vibe for him.
Yeah.
To get them.
He's done other projects in town before.
Okay, and yeah, it's a curb replacement on 14th Street.
Is that over there by Barnhart's, I think, right?
Yeah, we had a similar issue here.
Okay. City shop, Bay 2, repair that drain.
Yep.
Valley gutter on 3rd and Main.
Yep.
So,
It's deteriorated. Needs concrete.
okay. And then replace valley gutter on Main and 9th, excuse me.
Yep.
And then I think you wanted to get that done sooner or later, so when the guys came in to do blacktop, at least they had something to, basically.
Yeah, the curb on 13th is the one that needs to be done before asphalt.
So,
So they can base the asphalt off of the.
yeah, that was kind of the thought, to get them in first before they do blacktop. Hopefully I'm getting this all right.
Yeah.
And then, basically from us, since it's over $4,000, they're looking for our approval to go through with this.
So what is the total?
Like I said, it is, just to be noted, it's an
Working
estimate,
Yep, not bids.
not a bid. So, it's, if I'm looking at this right, it's, S&R is $18,005.50,
Oh, 1805.
or
okay.
1805. There was a second, bid, for dirt concrete out of Mandan, came in at $21,980. But it says here, but the bid is missing one of the valley gutters. So, okay, so it's actually $26,480. So S&R is technically the lower of the two bids, or excuse me, estimates.
I don't know if I have that estimate, so I'm sorry, you guys don't have that one, you have the Dirk one, but I will make sure, I can send it out too.
Okay.
There should be 21 feet of sidewalk in there as well. Where there's that water breakdown.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, a section of sidewalk on Main Avenue and, by the water break, by the water break.
By the coulee there.
So that's by the coulee.
Do we know what kind of per foot we're being charged approximately?
That'd be questions for Adam.
Okay.
I know between Dirk and the other guy, Dirk was almost double, if not triple,
Okay.
price per foot.
So are you looking for approval of this, Jamie, or?
Well, I guess the one that, and I don't know if I don't wanna really scare anybody off, but with it being an estimate,
Right.
do we wanna put anything in there, to not exceed the $18,005.50 without written approval?
That'd be my concern too, cause it's not a bid, so.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe to basically approve this estimate with that clause in there.
Kinda like we did with the road in Hawkins last year, not to exceed the.
Yeah.
I have one question. So they do the curb and then the city has to come back and repair any of the dirt? The backfill and everything?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, we would receive that.
we'll take care of that in.
I guess with these being, one question, with them being curb and gutters and them being kind of washed out, maybe this is, Chris is standing right here, maybe we could put him on the spot, sorry. But should any of that be compacted first, maybe dug out, compacted before the concrete guys?
Well, it should at least be checked.
So is that, I don't know, sorry putting you on the spot, is that something that, you know, he does the dirt work, is that something we should have him check before the concrete?
They can check it.
So,
Yeah, we put gravel in and
so you guys would be doing the checking, compacting, getting it ready for,
and they'll do the forming and.
gotcha. So, okay. Anybody got any other thoughts on this?
It's a good thought though on the compaction part, so.
I guess should I make a motion to approve this? Has anybody got?
If you wanna put that limit on there though, cause otherwise it's not a bid,
Okay.
not to exceed.
I think, or how should we say this? I would make a motion to approve this with the clause of not to exceed the $18,005.50 without written approval from the city to go with SNR Concrete for these listed products.
Yeah, you could make a motion to approve the estimate not to exceed $18,005.50 without city approval for further costs.
Should I retract what I just said?
I think she'll get it.
Where you want?
I got it, you're good.
We good on that? So,
I'll second that.
okay.
Any more discussion? Keith?
Yes.
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 All right, thank you. Engineering fees. So, at our budget meeting the other day, we talked about our engineering fees. And we talked about, maybe doing only quarterly engineering updates. That way we can, try to save the city a little bit of money if we don't really need them here. And then that way we can get our ducks in a row and get more usage out of engineer. And try not to call them for every little thing, because everything that we have them do, we get charged for, so.
I guess just to add to that, cause like our budget, I believe in 2022, I think, was like 6,000 and we spent like 18,000. And that was not for like street project or anything like that. That was for like other stuff, right? So like, it's kind of the little things like, hey, they were saying up there about this drainage. Then if he's taking that as a work order or whatever it may be, he's gonna go do all the research, he does great work, don't get me wrong. But he's gonna do all these things and you get a bill for all those things, you know what I mean? So we just need to be a little bit more careful, give us a rough estimate, you know, like that sort of stuff, like, so it was just a lot more, and then the same thing happened the following year as well, like, I think we even increased it to about 10,000, I'm sorry, the numbers are probably a little bit off, but it was still like almost double, So then it's like, okay, that's a lot. Do we need him showing up to every single meeting? You know, like, could he give a quarterly report and just save us money in that way? So that's kind of a weird thing, but yeah.
So basically there's no action here, it would basically just be a change in practice.
Well, unless we want to decide to have him just come quarterly, maybe that should be an
Oh.
action, I guess. I don't know if we
Well, I
want to do
guess
that yet.
I was
just-
talking
yeah.
more from the aspect of be careful what kind of questions you ask. Yeah.
Is there, I mean, maybe Eric should be here for this or
Right.
represent, but maybe he can kind of give us, this is what we charge for it, though this is on the house, or, just so we know kind of how to kind of approach that, or, okay, this is, initiating a work order from them to do something.
I like your idea, I think maybe we should pass over this until Eric is here and then he can answer our questions in person, so why don't we do that? If that's all right?
Yeah, that's what
That
kind
sounds
of,
good.
this thing was half baked anyways, because we were kind of talking about it during the budget meeting, it's like, that's on this agenda, so let's just move it to now, so we can definitely move it to this year.
Sounds good.
And if you have so many questions right now, Chelsea, I'd be happy to answer them. I am on the phone.
Okay.
Does he know when,
Kinda
when's the
like
next time he's scheduled?
We kinda like talking to you in person.
He would have been here today, but Killdeer is going through a project as well, and they had a special meeting tonight that Eric had to be there at, so he just opted to call so he could listen to what was going on. I kind of did explain to him what was discussed in the budget meeting, and we have had a lot of work going on this last year, kind of where those things went with the project, or the slide area down at Boat Ramp Road, pressure reducing valves, looking at Custer. Obviously, the street project, a lot of those costs have been absorbed into that project, some as well, but some of the beginning and ending ones obviously have not. Just a little more of, I guess, a guideline as to where those general engineering fees are going. But Eric, sorry, I don't need to speak on behalf of you.
No, that's okay, Chelsea. If there's any questions on any of the bills for the general engineering services, I will gladly take those from the commission. I can provide a list of items worked on over the last month, or for each bill, if that's something that's desired. Typically, we do send some explanation in the hours are all broken down on there. We try to, obviously, we make the best use of our time. If it's something very simple, I'm not going to be charging the city for it. If there's an analysis or something that needs to be done on a sanitary sewer, or if there's things that go into, things like with the lagoon, there was no specific contract for like the lagoon improvements we did. That was all stuff done under general engineering services. Things like helping out with the special assessments, attending meetings, those are things that are covered under general engineering services. And I'm definitely open and okay with not being there every meeting if that's something the city wants. I just want to be able to serve the city as in the best capacity that I can. So if it's something where I attend every other meeting or something like that, we can definitely look at that as well. If you guys think we're having too much time, where I do put time in, I can most certainly explain what time we're spending if there are questions. So I have no issue with that.
Yeah, I guess it's gonna be an adjustment, I mean, it's whether we stay the same or, yeah, I mean, it's just something we're looking at, Eric, because we appreciate everything you do and have no problem with the work that you do for us, so. Yeah.
I like what Tim's saying too. I think maybe throw ourselves under the bus, being a new commissioner, maybe sometimes you don't know what you're asking for and just know what that initiates. So just maybe a little training on our behalf, I guess, so.
Yeah, no worries. I appreciate you guys, and yeah, I'll always advise you to the best of my ability, and if there is questions, feel free to call anytime. If I get questions from the public in Washburn, I do my utmost to make sure that the commission is aware of it. So if there are issues that you know, should be brought to your attention or one of a portfolio holder's attention. Or if there's something I think should be brought up at a meeting that's not being brought up, you know, that's something that I definitely feel like I've done really well in the past. So, but if there's more that you want from me as far as bringing matters to your attention, I can most certainly do that too. So I have no problem with that.
Okay, thanks, Eric.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on. Washburn Light.
Mark, my just suggestion, you are vice president of this group, right? So you might want to reduce this to Keith and let him handle this. For, I don't know whether it'd be a conflict or not. I just don't want to get you in. Come on up. So,
Are you talking about the?
conflict of interest. No, conflict of interest because you're vice president of this group. So,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, so you might,
Yeah.
might
Oh,
just recuse yourself and let
Yep.
Keith handle this agenda item.
sure.
Okay.
Excuse himself and sit with the audience at this point.
Yep.
Hello, Washburn Light, thanks for coming, appreciate it.
Hey guys, so I just, I'll start with the introduction. So my name is Rochelle Towell. I have been in Washburn since 2013. I am part of the economic development in Washburn called Washburn Life. With me today is Donna. She's our treasurer, and we are going to present something we've been working on for over a year that we want to really discuss. Then I'll kind of go over some light events that we're having. You want to take it?
Sure. What we're talking about is the directional signs. And Rochelle had kind of written up this first page about, you know, what the benefits to the community are. And hopefully you all have had a chance to look at this, but the benefits to the community, improving navigation for existing residents and visitors, safety, clear signage, so there's traffic flow, just aesthetics, things like that. Placement, we want high contrast colors, legible fonts, things like that. I guess the second page, you know, kind of going off of other communities have something similar. I don't know if you've all been to Mandan or not, but they have a lot of directional signs all over town, kind of pointing out different things, and that's kind of how we got the idea. And I know Minot just did something similar too. We don't want to go to the extent that I know Mandan has them, you know, everywhere in town. We were kind of narrowing it down to maybe 6 signs, kind of looking at the 3 main entrances to town, if you will. On the east end, Main Street, west end, kind of by the body shop, and then the school. There's a lot of other entrances too, but those would maybe be the main ones. If you tell people, go here, follow the signs. Go to the school by Krause's, follow the signs, things like that. So otherwise you could sign yourself to death.
Yeah.
But, you know, we kind of drove around and, you know, sign one, if you want to look at all these, would be the one at the corner of 83 and 7th by Krause's. You know, people turn off, you know, having the sign, and I don't know.
So this is after you turn off and you're heading towards the school, you would say.
Correct, yeah, because I don't know with highway right away, how close we can have it. But going down the hill, or, you know, just like Krause's parking lot corner or something, or their alley or whatever.
As soon as
or on-
possible when they make the corner.
Yeah, and then they can see, well, the school's down there, the courthouse, the dog park, the pool park. You know, we kind of picked key things to highlight, and we could, you know, expand and they could get really busy, but the main ones, museum, city hall, things like that. And then number 2 would be on the east end, basically the same stuff, getting downtown. We've got on the first page, we've got, I guess, facing south, facing west, just so you can kind of see, you know, we kind of different examples of what would maybe be on the top. But they'd be the same sign, but different ideas on the top.
Excuse me, Donna, this is how big of a sign? Or does it say?
We haven't gotten to that yet. We did get some estimates for some
Yeah.
sizes, but just
Yeah,
to
that's
get
okay.
the main idea.
Right.
at first.
Just so they're big enough so you can,
Yeah,
cause you got a lot on here, so.
yeah, we don't want a little dinky sign that and
You
I,
have to get out of your car and go read it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and there's something in here from the Gallet Sign Pro. She said that the size she's talking about, maximum input of 30-foot, readability of 100 feet. You know, we
Okay.
want it big enough so people
Right.
can see it. And this example I've got pretty small.
60 by 36.
We're considering doubling that, so the number that she gave us on here, I think we said double, because she has 24 by 36 and then 60 by 36.
Yeah, I guess we'd have to kind of
So it's gotta be like double.
maybe walk there and kind of figure out what it would be.
All the way down to those arrows, like we observed how Minot had their arrows, what side of the word they had the arrows on, which direction the sign
Yeah.
was going, like.
And which ones were confusing and not confusing.
It was actually the way
Yeah.
she redid it made more sense of like where the arrows were going and where the arrows were pointing, like which way to turn, so because
Yeah.
all of them were facing on one side and like pointing this
Yeah,
way,
so
but
we
they were all in a
change
row.
them, but like
Yeah.
sign number, well, like on sign number 4 has. But anyway, sign number 3 would be the west end of Main down by the body shop. Those would be a double facing sign. If you're going west, coming west, it would only point down to the Riverside Park and Sioux Ferry.
Softball.
If you're going, Softball Diamond, and, we can change the names, we don't know, is that the official name, or, what is rec field, whatever. And then on the other side would get you everything, those things, and then everything downtown.
That's a good idea to have one of those sides depending which way
Yeah,
you're going.
yeah, except the ones on
83.
83, and yeah. And then number 4 would be kind of by Stella's. Yeah, everybody calls it Stella's, by the post office, Scott's, pointing to, when you're coming one way, it points you, pool parks down that way, dog parks down that way, City Hall, keep going. And then on the other side, pool park, dog park, and then everything else. And then number 5
Oh, there it is.
would
Sorry.
be,
The directions.
yeah, number 5 would be kind of by the bank, maybe up by their drive-through. As you're going up 7th, you see the school and the courthouse are up that way. When you're coming down that hill, you see pool park, dog park, different things. And then the 6th sign would be kind of by the funeral home, just so we don't miss that other way to Riverside Park and Sioux Ferry.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the ones on Main, there's no boulevard on Main. Commercial goes right to the sidewalk, so.
Oh, so you'd have to get,
Cause like the bank owns everything inside,
Oh, okay.
so that, the commercial Main, there is no buffer zone like you would have in other areas where you could put
Oh.
a sign on a boulevard. So you'd have to get permission
From
from the
the
bank, which would
owner.
be no problem,
Yeah.
or Stella,
Stella,
whatever,
yeah.
because Stella owns everything except the sidewalk there.
oh, okay. Because
That's
we
all
picked
private
her
property.
corner because it's most visible. If we
Right.
did it by Scott's, then the
Yeah.
building's gonna block
Yeah,
things.
I'm not
so-
saying that wouldn't work, it's just that there's no easement.
Yeah, we'd
Just
have
like
to,
across the street, the old building there sits exactly on the property line, cause with commercial
Yeah.
on Main Street, there's no buffer, no
Oh,
boulevard.
okay.
Just so you have that to contact the landowners
Yeah.
for permission to
yeah.
put the sign.
And whether, the city runs with this or
Right,
we do a joint thing
Right.
or whatever.
yeah.
So yeah, those 6 signs. And then the next is the estimate the bid, estimate from Sign Pro. And depending on sizes, 400 to 1,000, and then with artwork and stuff, the estimate's $43.55. Now, if we increase sizes, it could double or, increase.
Double that. She did it like this, and we were kind of, I did ask her for some type of a drawing. We really did like that Washburn, like when you come into town, you got the super, the wheel, or whatever, the stacks, is that what it is?
I mean, the one down here in the ditch.
Yeah, so we were looking for something creative, for her to put like at the top, like she said before.
Yeah,
You know,
either the
kind of,
smokestacks
even if
or,
it's- Yeah, something that's cute,
or even we were looking at the electronic sign and whether you do some arches like that has, but I guess we'd have to see how much that would cost on top, but
Yeah.
something making them unique. Mandan just kind of has the sign, well, they kind of have a little curve on the top of it. And then on top of this would be installation, whether we get, you know, metal posts, treated lumber, whatever, and, you know,
We were kind
get
of
somebody
hoping,
to,
yeah, we were kind of hoping to work with, locals on, you know, posts or whatever we were gonna put into the ground.
Right, that's a good idea.
You know,
What, is Mandan like putting it on a light pole there?
no, it's actually in the middle of the sidewalk, and it's high enough, it's kind of misleading, but it's high enough people can walk under
Yeah,
it.
cause I couldn't, it looked like a, you know, light
Yeah,
pole.
no, that's just probably the angle. I was driving around and I had my daughter snap some pictures as we were driving, so.
I think
Yeah.
we are looking to have them like at that height too, where you can walk under them, because that's what we've noticed. Like when I've stopped in Mandan, that's what I've really noticed, like the ones that set where you could see that and what's going on, anything like high level or to the
If you look
ground.
at that one, you can see the pickup, how high it is compared to the pickup. So
I guess
it's
now that I
pretty
look, I
tall.
see a light pole behind it there. so I
Yeah,
should
it's,
saw that.
and there's kind of reflection
Yeah.
too, but.
You can see something.
I suppose liability wise, you kind of want it that high so somebody didn't hit their head or something.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wasn't sure, we weren't sure, we heard that, you know, Chelsea was working on something or something was going on, that we were just, it's a lot of man hours and time. I mean, me and Donna and Richard went in a vehicle together, you know, around town, and we continuously meet up, so I was just hoping to put our time together and work together on this project.
And we could drive around with some of you too and kind of let you see what we kind of were envisioning too, but.
Because we don't wanna clutter, we don't wanna make the town look tacky, we'd like to work with you guys, you know,
Do you
to
think that,
help.
right, do you think maybe one of the next phases would be to, you know, figure out exactly where you're going to put them, you know?
Yeah, but
like, especially
is-
on the main street.
Is that gonna be a collaborative effort with, you know,
Right.
is this your baby from now on, or are we, you know?
Keep it.
Well, I guess,
You've
the
done great
next
work.
kind of thing, since I think you guys are looking for maybe like a joint committee, maybe forming a committee, can I do that as vice president, I guess, because that's my tech committee right now? Okay, so maybe form a committee, would you guys want all three of your people still on that, or two of you, one could step off, and then maybe some more people from here, or what would you prefer, I guess?
I mean, with the three of us, you get a good rotation of two most of the time.
Sure.
So I mean, if one of us isn't available, hopefully the other one can come in.
Yeah, if I might suggest, Keith, it doesn't, the committee from here doesn't necessarily need to be a commission, maybe someone from the office, I don't know if either one of them are interested for input. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I was thinking, was maybe like first
Yeah.
available to Jamie as streets if you
Right.
wanted to, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to put you on the spot, but if you would wanna be involved in this, I
Well,
guess.
Or we're like snow removal or mowing, so maybe if building the streets, talk to Adam, run it by him and see where.
Yep.
But
Do
just
you
be
have
clear-
a map kind of pinned where these locations are? I mean, I know you told me, but. I
We
mean,
have, that was the first go around, in August of 23. I haven't since, but we can. I think I was, under the assumption that you guys were already in the process. Are you already in the process of working on that?
I've backed off. You guys can have it as your baby.
Okay, because, well, whatever information you've gathered or, you know, whatever is important to help steer us, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, on wherever we need
Do
to
you
go.
have that map somewhere, or I can
I
kind
have
of print something up on
something,
X or
yeah.
Google Earth or something?
We
where
had actually just
I
talked
do a
about
lot of
how we
bidding on
need a
Google
map
Earth
today.
For job sites and stuff like that, so I mean, I don't know, we could just go on and if you guys could kind of tell me where stuff was on
Yeah.
a computer
Yeah.
or even stop down, if Jenny's down there, you could just pin it on the map.
Sure.
And then I suppose I could meet with Adam and just see if any of that's like a, I don't know, conflict or whatever.
Right.
But, yeah,
And I don't know if you could get creative on Main Street, like if you're coming down, is there a side of a building you could put it on if there's no, I realize it wouldn't
But
be
then
as
we-
visible without.
We
being
need the
Oh,
backside.
right, okay.
That
Because
one's
Scott's,
double-sided.
you know, Claudia said you can put the dog park, a
Right.
sign on
But
her
you don't
building,
have
but then
nothing on
you
the
wouldn't be able to
backside.
see it from the other side, so,
But the old time signs used to hang out off the front of the building too.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah,
So we're kind of envisioning freestanding,
Right.
two-sided.
It looks like Mandan went right through the sidewalks.
Yeah.
the ones that are on Main Avenue, do you guys wanna reach out to the business owners and see what they think and then like
Yeah, the biggest one to get is probably gonna be that one up by Krausie's where we wanna put it in, and then we could definitely show you the two sides, and then ask talking to the bank too about that post right there. I think that's.
And Stella.
And still, yeah.
Well, Krausie's, there's a boulevard there though, right?
These guys should try talking to Deb at Chase Specs, she's open to a lot of suggestions on signing, she's been thinking about doing stuff there too.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I guess just for maybe one of the other committee members, I'll obviously ask them, but maybe Zach or Adam, like actually on the committee. So then we don't have to really necessarily go back and forth with them, but rather there they are right there. If they want to, I guess, obviously ask them.
Yeah.
Or you maybe are just, well, one of the persons that would kind of know about it or are interested in it, 'cause I know you showed some interest in that and stuff, so.
And I'm sorry, I'm asking questions that don't need to be
No,
asked.
that's
here.
No, you're fine. I'm just
I
trying to
mean, they
figure
could be
out
done by,
how to get.
they can be done by committee.
Yeah.
So,
No, which is fine. So you three, yes?
I guess it's under streets, I guess technically, isn't it, or is it under a different portfolio?
It's not under water and sewer. I
Yeah.
tell you.
I would say more so you, just with,
We'll do most of the legwork, I think it's just more of like, okay, yeah, you know what I mean, like that other.
It might be a conflict for Mark to be on there being on Washburn Light.
He's not on he's not on this subcommittee.
Okay.
But still, he's
Yes.
on our.
So.
Him
Oh,
being
for
an
him.
officer makes it.
So to form that committee of 4 persons, maybe 5, asking Adam and Zach. Can I do that? Can I
Yeah.
form an
Yeah.
inconclusive committee? I don't know. But-
I would move the vice president and because the situation, vice president happened. You want how many from the city?
2.
Yeah, form a committee to work with Washburn Life on sign placage and other things.
To include Adam and Zach, or?
Adam or Zach.
Adam or Zach,
You, Adam or Zach, yep.
gotcha.
And if not, we'll figure out someone else, I guess.
Okay.
I'll probably get all the information given to me, which is fine. I'll make sure
You're
that
stuck
it
with
gets,
everything anyway.
it's okay.
We'll contact you, Jamie, about getting
Okay.
together to.
Yeah, if I'm not down there, if you catch Jenny down in the office, we can at least start with pinning where exactly you want to
Right,
put
yeah.
the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then we could, maybe it would be best to physically go someplace and, yeah, this would be stupidly big, this would be too small, kind of coming up with, 3 feet, 4 feet, whatever. and-
yeah.
Just excuse me for a
Starting.
second, so let's get a second and then we can discuss it. I made a motion, so that's okay, Keith.
Sure, yeah, I second it.
Okay, you did second it, okay.
No, I just did.
Oh, you did, okay, now go ahead, Donna, so, just a technicality.
Yeah, but, we'll
Okay.
work it out and maybe physically go
Yeah.
to the spots too and kind of eyeball sizes that would maybe work and.
Just on that, no offense, but I don't really want to be on the committee, but I could help. If you guys get some quotes for the sizes, I could actually work it up in my computer and laser cut you just ugly on cardboard in that size. And cut you letters and just literally Elmer's glue them or something on it, and then you could hold it and you could actually see what it looks like.
Drive away.
I do have the
It's in
ability to do
there.
that, and that'd be free of charge, so
That's
just let me
great.
know if you guys want that service, I can do that. If not, yeah, whatever. Just figure I'd put that in there.
I think double the size of one of the letterings, Bev's lettering, and then I apologize to ask this, we did just form this committee, is this only specific to those signs, because I am gonna try to get that billboard changed. That's up on the highway, so I didn't know, can we put the billboard discussion in with that, or is that a different thing that you guys wanna
Which
do
that-
when we
Or
get to
does
that?
that have
Digital
anything?
one?
The one that's torn down, I've already been to the school board, I've talked to the, I've been to the committee over there, and I've been redirected that it is the, not music boosters, but sports boosters, but they don't really have it, but I'm looking to redo those 2 billboards up there.
Oh,
Which one are those?
The
I
one
guess
that has the missing piece, and then the one that has the cloth that's been torn down, they're both.
They're both on
really-
Cenex property, we think.
Yeah, Interbase,
Oh,
it is
okay,
Interbase,
there.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
but is that even something you guys care about, or is that something we can just?
If I may say, just for this committee, I personally feel it'd be best to keep it
Right.
focused.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
you did a great job on this, just even something just like this for the billboard.
Okay.
We'll get in our committee going and we'll get it done, so,
Perfect,
yeah.
I can
no
do that.
issue.
The only other thing is, you guys maybe would need to decide if, you want Washburn Life to cost share on part of it, or if it's in your budget to do the whole thing, or what, so.
If I might say, we were talking about the beautification part, but it would make sense for a little bit of cost share from like economic dollars, cause it is for economic.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a beautification that's in there, obviously, we'll see how it's allocated and stuff, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely the committee can talk about that.
Okay.
I guess when we get more specifics, then thank you
Yeah.
for your work.
Yeah,
Um,
so then the events real quick, and that is gonna kind of run in with that beautification, cause only cause you said it. What I have coming up this Saturday, we are gonna kind of close out the final phase 1 of Light Up Washburn. We attempted just trial and error to see what it looked like with, the solar lights. I haven't been out there since McLean Electric went out there a second time to finish wrapping up the lights, with Mark. So I hope that that looks beautiful. Hopefully it's not all off. Otherwise we'll find somebody else with a bucket and make them so they're all not blinking and random. But that is, gonna draw into, beginning of school year. So, a big inflatable, screen was purchased. It is 25 feet. We, are working with the library, NDSU Extension, McLean Resource Center, the park board, to have it cleared out, to have the trees, all done. So on August 17th at 8 o'clock, we're gonna do watermelon, lemonade. We're looking for a popcorn machine right now, and then we're gonna give them resources, for back to school stuff.
And we're having a movie.
Yeah, and we're having a movie. The Legion was very kind and, came and joined us with that too. Movie is going to be, Migration. Supposed to be really funny, really nice, so we'll probably do like an hour of activities. I think the library already called and asked for an extension on noise. We weren't sure if noise, there's a speaker. We rented the, Riverboat Days Committee. We have that speaker that'll be out there at the Riverside Park. So all this will be going on at Riverside Park. And I am asking them to spray for mosquitoes. So I don't know if I'm gonna end up circling back around to the city for help with that, but it was bad.
To spray for mosquitoes?
Yeah.
I don't know if we have anything to do with.
Something to calm it down.
I can get you some numbers of mosquito sprayers.
Okay. And then after that, we have a golf special.
Sorry, real quick on that, one thing we could provide, I guess could be useful, we've done like when Journey Church had their stuff, we did road closures, like is that useful at all for down there, like for kids running around and that, like is that helpful? It's helpful for Journey Church, I guess, but.
It might be something to think about. It's Saturday night, they're gonna be pulling in parking at the Riverside Park.
Okay.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts? I don't know if it should have a road closure or not.
With little kids getting them that far down.
Like maybe just in that one little, those two.
I think that's what they did, I think they like had, like, you'd park up there and you'd walk down.
Yeah,
To
they
the
parked
event,
up
down a walking path, yeah, so, might be a good idea, I guess, so, I'm sorry? So down by the riverboat and that sort of stuff, they would park up kind of by, there's that big field and the walking path kind of swoops around and then it goes down.
Waterfront?
Sorry?
No, the other side.
The end of
Over by your.
By that electric
Oh,
transformer.
Yeah.
Below,
Yeah,
kinda where
it's
that
got
round
that
is.
On
Yeah.
that thing, on
Yeah.
that platform that's out there, you have a platform that's right next to, they have a shack or like a little rest area.
Up, like,
And there's like a
uphill or
platform.
downhill from the
Yeah,
road?
like when you come down, there's just that platform.
Oh, we're on the river boat itself, or no?
Riverside Park, it's on the other side,
So uphill,
where the swing sets are, yeah, where the playground is.
like this way the swing sets?
Mhm.
So that big round platform thingy?
Yeah,
Okay.
That flat spot.
yeah, that flat spot.
Oh, that's where the
It's kind
screen's
of a
gonna
level
be.
spot.
We're gonna have it over there on that side, and I am gonna hang up a couple of lights in there just to make it glow and look nice, but, yeah.
I think we can have it,
You
Yeah.
guys never voted that.
Oh, thank you, yeah, I guess we just got into, yep, so we'll call for vote, I don't know what the motion is.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. To form the committee, which I mean technically do we even need a motion to form a committee? Can't I just form a committee?
What, somebody already.
He's already made a motion,
Oh,
and you
okay.
seconded it.
Right,
so.
so I'll just take roll call vote, starting
Yes.
with Tim.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so then moving along to possible road closure, that's something that you guys would desire, something that'd be helpful for you guys, or?
I can go down and reevaluate tomorrow, and discuss with the librarian, or discuss with one of you guys if you feel like that's what we should do. I'm all for safety. I've never had an event down there, or seen an event down there, so I honestly didn't.
Is with that slide area and that, maybe it would be best not to have the people parking along, down in that area. Because you've spoken with the sheriff's department, so they're not driving through town to let them know that this event is going on?
It's something can be done.
What? I said you might want to do that, since the park is closed from sunset to sunrise.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's what I went through the park and I just noticed, they have that painted off that said, whatever, slide area, and I'm like, what happens if somebody parks on that?
Yeah, I think these are,
At your
That road's not
suggestion,
very wide
maybe
anymore.
roadblock probably in like certain little areas, so everybody either parks up by the lights or they park up by the softball field.
And then walk down,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I guess I would motion to close the road that Saturday night from 5 o'clock.
It's gonna start at 8.
Okay. Like popcorn and that sort of stuff.
I'd like to start getting set by 6.
From
Oh,
6
5:30.
o'clock to 11,
Okay.
like 30, 40 feet on each side, kind of like we did for Journey Church. I don't know if you could look up that map. What we did for their road closure and everything, the event down.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that safety distance or whatever, that's my motion.
second,
Okay, motion and second, any further discussion?
nope.
Okay.
And then
Just hold on a second. We're in the
Oh, well, I guess technically discussion, is it about this, about the current motion? Okay, so then I'll take vote, starting with
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's this Saturday, correct?
This Saturday.
Okay, just so the barricades can be put out.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the last thing that we have is August 16th, Friday, so we have the Swing It for Some Fun golf. It is $30 per person, $120 per team.
Not August 16th.
Oh, due by August 16th. Oh, sorry, it's August
28th.
28th. Your form is due by the 16th, so make sure you put it in by then. Includes nine-hole round of golf, cart, burger, dinner, and 1 drink ticket. So we have something forceful, something, we'll see how that goes. But yes, beautification, that light up Washburn is all about lights. So if you want Christmas lights, I'm more than willing to work with you guys on that and take from those funds to see where we can help and meet.
Yeah, we got donations, we have quite a bit of money
Yeah.
for the light up projects, so we
Just
can
saying.
help with city decorations too.
You just lit her up.
4. Okay.
All right, thank you guys for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Keep going, Keith, you're doing good.
I'm
Good
tired,
practice.
for sure. You actually want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Go ahead.
So that was Washburn Life. We're moving on to the next agenda item, A2S update. Is
We have a
Eric still on
pledge of
the phone?
securities.
I'm sorry?
We have a pledge of securities.
You're right, yep, I wrote that above Washburn Life for whatever reason. So pledge of security, so we'll find that.
Point of order, I don't know if you could keep going since the
Right.
presidential, new
It
building
needs to be
was
turned
done.
back over again.
Yep.
All right.
Turn it back over to Mark.
Try to help you. All right, pledge of securities. What do you got, Chelsea?
Can I make myself a copy?
There, you
Can I
can have
steal
mine.
yours?
Yep, you can have it.
Okay, so, we have to approve this twice a year. True Community sends it over to us. And I'll just read it. The Board of Directors for True Community Bank approved the pledge of securities at the July 29th, 2024 board meeting. The total public deposits on June 30th, 2024 were $23,238,235.80. And the total pledged securities were $26,386,830 and 82 cents. The current value of securities pledged as collateral for deposits as of the quarter end, July 30th, 2024, met the FDIC requirements. So we just need a motion and a second to accept these pledge
I
of
would
securities.
move to accept the pledge of securities.
Second.
You can have it.
Any more discussion?
Not hearing any, Keith?
Yes.
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 All right, A2S update. Eric still there?
Nope, Eric had to go,
That's
so,
We
you can
have-
read it, kinda see, he has been kinda busy with this other one. There's not much through there, the warranty items and walkthrough for that 2023 street improvements project. Still, if there's things that residents have seen, please make them known to the office or Jamie as the street commissioner. The lead and copper revision rule, the service line inventory was submitted 7/31/24 and accepted by the state. So we will now wait to see what the next step is for their 3-step process so far that they have in that. The PRV replacement project, the condition assessment of valves and vaults, and work on scope and cost update. I believe he's hoping to have more of an update on that for our September meeting. And then same with working on the scope and cost update for the street and drainage improvements for 2025, if we are going to proceed to move forward with that project.
Any more discussion with that? Not, we're gonna move on, portfolios. Who wants to start?
I can start.
Okay.
Yeah. The intake structure is still doing research on that. I'll be getting a hold of Mayor Mahoney again this week and try to set up a meeting in Jamestown, so with his crew. Also, like I said, Adam's not here, but the water towers have been updated with stirrators and repairs. And Chelsea already gave the PRV thing, so that's all I've got.
Okay. Jamie?
Just, I don't know, after that budget meeting, I happened to work down at the bank and talked to Tony.
Yes.
And we talked about maybe putting some of that money into like short-term, I don't know, lack of words, CDs to make the money work for us, I guess. He said, yeah, the county's already doing it in some capacity.
Okay.
And then, yeah, if you wanted to reach out to him, he'd be more than willing to go over it. So,
Sure, thank you.
yeah.
I will do that.
And that, sure, there's something else I'm forgetting, but that's what I got, I guess. So.
Okay. Fishing pier is being moved down to the boat ramp area. I just talked to Zach, he's thinking maybe by Wednesday they'll have that in place. So while they're working down there, please kind of stay back. Because we got heavy equipment down there and stuff, so. And then I've been in constant contact with Seeds of Eden. They're giving me weekly updates on any changes over there for public safety, and everything is going good. We actually had a meeting with Mariah and myself, Miranda, I'm sorry, Miranda. And that seemed to go over pretty good. Then I'm hoping that we'll sit down with law enforcement one of these days and introduce them to her, and she'll be the contact person. So that's all I got.
So human resources, you saw a few agenda items of it, but for finance, I did get our login. We get like a grant writing thing through the League of Cities. So I'm now that I've more familiarized with myself with the budget, kind of dove into that. Like if you guys have any projects coming up, I can look up, see if there's anything in regards to that that's available. It kind of searches federal, state, local grants, and so you can filter by qualifications and all that sort of stuff. So I can start looking for that kind of thing. So if you have any projects coming up, just let me know, and I can see if there's anything available. So.
Tim, did you want to bring up any of the planning and zoning information?
No, there's no actions on anything.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, speaking of one thing not being brought up, and one of the last meetings, Daryl Savageau, you know, he was talking about his road up there. So went up there and met with him, and then basically then met with Adam about maybe trying to build up that road. I guess if anybody has any input, if the city tried to do it themselves with their own equipment, does that still fall under, like, if you go past $4,000, even if the city does it themselves, should that come back here for approval, or at least before, like, Adam would commence doing anything?
Are you just gonna regrow it or what?
Well, it's basically it's in the wrong spot. It's too far onto DAP's property, and so they wanna move it, so where it's supposed to be over by Crest, closer to Crest.
I think in order to be fair to Hawkins out here, you know, the approval was commissioned to move that road. I think anything outside of, cause we did approve graveling, you know, earlier this spring. I think any adaptations past just gravel, it's just my opinion, for resurfacing, I think it should come for commission approval. You know, get,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know what,
So before, say if Adam might get going on that or something, it should probably just circle back here.
right, I mean, if you're just regrading it and widening it or different things like that, that's city, go ahead and do it, but if you're actually moving it, you know, I don't know where this is just my opinion, I'm just looking at what we're doing at Hawkins, we're sliding the road over.
Yeah.
Although there we're having a contractor do it, so it's a different thing, but,
Yeah.
you know, I would think that if you're just,
It'd be
just,
kind of, oh,
yeah,
sorry.
if you're just graveling and maintaining it, that's, yeah, go ahead and do it.
It might be kind of basically moved over to the actual property
Oh,
pins,
so
or
it's-
basically where it's actually supposed to be.
Okay,
Cause right now they're actually driving on DAP's property,
then I think the city just needs to correct it.
so.
I mean, that's just my opinion. Are you looking for some guidance or?
Yeah, just kind of an update, because,
Right.
you know, as we kind of talked earlier in the meeting, if somebody brings something to you,
Sure.
why is it not getting brought up? So I brought it up, and then just a little clarification, you know, if it's over a certain amount or certain size of
Right.
deal.
Well, I would think that if we're over on his property, we need to move the road over into the easement.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. I didn't realize we were over on his.
Yeah, and I can show you that stuff or whatever, or maybe bring it to one of the next meetings
Yeah,
about what we're looking at doing.
yeah, but no,
So-
Okay, Chelsea, do you have anything you wanna bring up?
The city hall will be closed on August 26th. It is a Monday. A quick reminder for building permits again, if you are doing any work, even if you have a question of stuff that you are doing, please call the city hall. We can help you with that. If you need to file a building permit, we will let you know. There's still a lot of work being done around town without building permits being issued. Our fall cleanup date has been set. It is September 9th through the 13th, with curbside on the 14th.
Can you repeat that?
Yep, September 9th through the 13th, curbside on the 14th. September 8th or 18th through the 20th is the annual conference for League of Cities. It is in Grand Forks this year. There is an elected officials training that Wednesday. If any of you are wanting to go, let me know. The city will pay for it. We can get you signed up. It's at the Alair Center. And then that's Wednesday afternoon, and then it kicks off into ours. Commissioners are welcome to sit through the whole conference. There's elected trainings Wednesday afternoon geared towards just elected officials that helps kind of get you guys acquainted. But then there are sessions that you guys can sit in if you would like to attend. Eric and I will both be going. It's kind of nice to have us both because they're concurrent sessions. That way we can each sit on different sessions to be able to get the most out of it. I think there was one other thing, but I don't remember, so that's all I have. But yes, if you are wanting to go, I can give you more information on it, but I can get you registered through the city too. They'll pay for it, so.
On those building permits, is it internal to the structure as well?
No.
It's just if you're expanding a footprint?
Right.
Yes. Even replacing decks, we ask that you get one. There is no fee. There is no fee for fences, but that's what we give to Ryan at the end of the year as well, so he can determine if values need to be changed. Siding, roofing, shingles, windows, that does not need a building permit. But if you are tearing down a deck and redoing it, we ask that you submit one just so that we can see it to still make sure that you are within your property lines. The material, fences, the big one is the material to make sure that it's up to date, I guess, with what our code says. Those are free, and also to make sure they are within your property lines.
Thanks for clarifying that, because I didn't think, you needed one for a deck if you didn't make it bigger, so, but yeah,
That has been a lot of confusion lately.
okay.
So we're just saying that even if you are getting one, we have it on file, but we're not charging for them.
Okay.
So,
Thanks.
unless it's a brand new deck
Right, thanks for clarifying that.
or non-existing before.
Zach, you got anything?
Adam did submit his superintendent report, if you guys want to review that, if there's any questions on it.
Yep, I looked it over.
You can try to ask, see if Zach or I know, or Adam should be back tomorrow.
Everyone had a chance to look at the bills?
Yep, I would move that we pay the bills.
Can I stop that correction
Yeah.
for that tree bill that's in there?
Oh.
It's $300 for, and it should be 3,000.
Right. Yeah, if you look at the slip on the back, it says 3,000, but in the voucher.
I missed a zero.
The voucher, she missed a zero, so.
So that tree one, should go from 300 to 3,000.
Right, that was Fran Reisenauer, through the forestry board.
And then on that grinder, was that originally 36,000? The original?
Wanna say something like that? I'd
'Cause
have to look at,
they returned a control panel that we ended up using the original panel.
Okay.
That had what it needed in there. And then it actually did come 480, not 240, so they did return it.
okay,
And I was just, off memory, I think the original was 36,000, it looks 33 in there, so I was just verifying that they did the deduct.
okay.
for
I
the-
can verify that.
So,
You have that in the motion to correct the tree deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Keith?
Yes.
Yes. All right, next meeting will be, September 9th. Keith will be running that meeting. I won't be here, so.
Are you gonna declare it adjourned?
Declaring adjourned.
Okay. Yeah, someday if you have time, we'll run down and look at that.